This is my Challenger versus Emerald series, where I bring on a guest, an expert. We deep dive on a particular champion. We compare their game, their knowledge in Challenger to the average Emerald player. My guest today is Tonirel. He is the only true Jinx one trick currently sitting in Challenger. He plays on the EUNE server, and this guy lives and breathes Jinx. He blind picks it, first picks it every single game, no matter what. Let's get straight into the details with Tonirel. Tonirel, let's start with builds with Jinx. Runes, items, skill order, everything. So my first question here is, does Jinx have like a cookie cutter, like you go the same runes, items every single game, or do you adapt it based on game? I mean, looking at your match history here, is there a certain game here that you'd say is like a very standard build?
Yeah, like builds usually on Jinx right now are the same. You know, no matter at what level you play the game, Yuntal Infinity Lord Dominic's is just by far the best, the highest DPS, the most consistent, feels the best to buy. And every time I try different, like Kraken or Runaan before Infinity or anything, it just doesn't work as well. Just the damage is lower and it's a bit more awkward to buy. And unfortunately as well, Yunta right now has not the best build path, but it's the best item in the game right now. So you kind of have to buy it first. And then when it comes to runes though, there's a bit more variation there. A bit more experimenting I've done, and there's multiple things that work. But at the same time, you can also just use one rune page and go with it, and it's going to be perfect. For example, this one here.
Looking at my screen here, so is this the standard build that you would recommend a Jinx player, like picking up Jinx for the first time, no adaptation? Is this the best build?
Like this is, how do I say this? It's like the most fun and feels the best because you have mana from Presence of Mind, you have lifesteal from what's called Bloodline. So if you take a bit of damage in mid game, you don't have to recall instantly. And then when it comes to scaling runes like Gathering Storm, Absolute Focus, most games, like you play for scaling most of the time because learning phase might be a bit hard. So you have that assurance that you're going to scale. And on top of it, getting extra attack damage from the secondary runes means you can like two-shot the minions with 2 rockets if you don't crit. And if you don't have those, it doesn't work. It's very annoying. So it's just, I basically over the years, I just hyper-optimized everything and came to the conclusion that this feels the best. Otherwise, yeah, sure, Triumph can actually work, but sometimes you have mana issues. And then Alacrity is more damage, which is nice, but it's also nice to be full HP. And yeah, it just, if you want something straightforward, go for that. If not, here, for example, if you scroll down a little, Biscuits and Boots, better early game. Amazing. The Biscuits help you so much against like poke comps. Like they have like Caitlyn or stuff. It's so much better to have Biscuits. And then the free Boots, it's hey, 300 gold for free. You get your infinity faster. Cool, let's go.
Yeah, then you can rush your first item faster.
Exactly.
So why did you go Alacrity here? And why do you switch it up to, why do you go Bloodline versus Alacrity rune? What's the difference between that?
Alacrity is pure DPS. It's fun, it feels good, especially because you're forced to go Infinity and Lord Dominic's because they are just the best crit items right now in the game. So you don't buy that much attack speed until you get your 4th item. So more attack speed feels nice. But then it's like if you go Absolute Focus, you need to be full HP for it to work. So Bloodline makes a lot of sense because you're not buying any lifesteal. The only lifesteal you have is Doran Blade, which is not that much. And you sometimes, and also if you have Bloodline, you can just sell Doran Blade for, let's say, Infinity Edge. Sell Doran Blade for Lord Dominic, so you can join that Drake fight more powerful. Which, if you don't have Bloodline, it's awkward because then it's like you farm a wave and you take the 100 damage from the wave, and you're now 100 HP lower in a fight. It feels awkward.
Let's talk about Cull. What are your thoughts on Cull, Tony? Do you build this every single game? This game you just bought a BF sword flat out. That's pretty crazy for first space of 3 minutes. Must have been chaos. What's going with Cull?
Most of the time, like 90% of my games, I would say, maybe even more, I buy Cull every game, basically, right? So when you can afford BF sword, like I have like 3 scenarios, I think. When you can afford BF sword, cool, you got BF sword. But even after BF sword, you can still buy Cull. And the logic behind it, it's the fact that attack damage on Jinx is better than attack speed on Jinx. Because you already have so many attack speed sources. You can just stack attack speed on top of attack speed. I'm not going to need that much. You want attack speed and attack damage to have the maximum amount of damage possible, DPS. And when it comes to, for example, the scenario of not being able to afford BF sword first base, you can buy a long sword and a curl, 800 gold. Guess what? With 17 attack damage, you can farm under turret now. You can farm the casters in one hit. It feels amazing. And also, another cool thing about curl is the fact that Yuntal by itself takes time to scale, doesn't do as much as, let's say, a collector or a Kraken Slayer, let's say, first item. It takes a bit of time. So for Jinx, you usually just want to play for 2, 3, 4 items, especially 2 items. And Curl delays your unit a little bit, but speeds up second, third, and fourth items, which that's what you care about. So it just makes a lot of sense to buy it legit like every single game. Exceptions when, let's say, you bought Infinity Edge first. Now you could afford Yuntal. Yeah, you just buy Yuntal. But in games where I buy BF Sword, I still buy Curl. I'm like second base, I have BF, it's minute 8, I'll buy a Curl and Longsword. That's fine. I can still do that sometimes if the goal permits it, right? Or if I can buy Yuntal.
These 2 games, you didn't buy Carl? So
yeah,
you said 90% of games.
Yeah, I think if you see here, I bought BF minute 4 and then bought like Slingshot and Longsword.
I see, it just made sense. Okay.
Right, because I just want to rush it there. I was ahead and everything. But if it's looking rough, it's very chill lane, I'll just buy Curl.
And skill order? Is this the same skill order you go every single game? Do you ever change this?
Yeah, Q, W, E is the max. But then level 2, there are some arguments. Do you start W or do you get E level 2? Well, I've figured out like W is best most of the time because you can use it twice in a fight. And even using it once is more damage than chompers. And I would say if you really want, because if you have like an engaged support, if you want chompers, you can go for it. It's not bad. But at the same time, if you have engaged support and they CC the enemy, I mean, you're going to guarantee land your W anyway, which is more damage and it also slows. So in a way, it's kind of the same thing in a way, right? Very similar.
And attack speed boots every single game?
Every single game, yes. You don't really have a reason to go something else. First of all, let's talk about defensive boots. If people get on top of you, you play Jinx, you're going to explode no matter what defensive boots you buy.
You're dead anyway.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter, right? But now let's talk about Swifties. Well, you know how we talked about like you go Infinity and LDR every game because they're the best items. Well, you don't have much attack speed, so Berserkers just make the most sense compared to Swifties. The extra movement speed is not as valuable as extra attack speed because attack speed at 3 items boost your damage by a lot because you already have so much attack damage and crit.
So I see a lot of the time you're skipping boots and going Yuntal. Is that, or do you want to get boots first? Where I think I saw a lot of Yuntal rushes here, right? Like here we go. So you get tier 1 boots and then you go Yuntal, and you didn't go magical footwear here, right? So how do you decide between going tier 2 boots before Yuntal?
So first of all, you never ever want to buy tier 2 boots until you at least have like the Curly Longsword. That's like you can't do that. If you can't even farm under turret, you can't just buy attack speed boots. It's not great. Right?
Not even your tier 1 boots, right? You're never going to base for boots and longsword, right? This has to be before.
Yeah, like I'm never really buying boots and longsword. Not really. I mean, that's very specific gold amount for it to only pay, I think it's 750 gold, right? Usually you have like 800. You buy curl and longsword. But yeah, I just never really want to buy boots when I can buy attack damage. Attack damage early is more valuable than a bit of movement speed for sure.
So for example, this game, so why did you be a tier 2 boots before your BF sword and your Yuntal?
Yeah, here I had curl and longsword already. So I was like, and then you see I have like a base minute 6, base minute 7. I think it was a horrible laning phase I had. I'm like, at least I'll buy boots, get back to lane faster so I don't lose as much XP. In the very hard games where I already have curl longsword, I can buy tier 2 boots. It's fine, even before BF. But most of the time you want to buy boots after Yunda. But if the goal doesn't allow you to do that, you gotta buy boots. Gotta buy something, The only time I don't buy it is when I don't have that extra like in Oxford, because then it's just awkward.
All right, let's see if the general community, the Jinx community, agrees with you, Tonirel. So I've looked up here, Jinx in Emerald Plus. I think this is all servers. So it looks like, I mean, this is very heavy. 88% pick rate on Yontel. So everyone agrees this is the best first item.
Yep.
Very little Kraken collector, right? So we're happy with that. We're happy. Everyone agrees that Yontel is the best first item. Is that right?
Yeah.
Boots. Everyone goes attack speed boots. Second item, everyone looks like they go Infinity Edge, right? There's 26 people go Runaan's Hurricane. What do you think's going on here?
Yeah, so when it comes to Runaan second, Runaan third, Runaan fourth, a lot of people have different mixed opinions. And myself, over the years, I always said Runaan Hurricane is my favorite item. It's so fun. It's so good on Jinx because of how the rockets interact. But at the same time, you usually just hit one target. And your single target DPS matter the most because you want to get one kill, get your passive, then you pop off. Runaan, unfortunately, requires like ideal scenarios. And also there's this argument of Runaan helps you outside of combat as well because you can clear waves faster. True. But also when you buy Infinity Edge, you one-shot the back wave with the crit, you two-shot the melees anyway, so it's not like it's necessary really, in a way. Because right now, unfortunately, Zeal items are too weak. They give you some attack speed, a bit of movement speed. It doesn't really help compared to you buy Infinity or Lord Dominic's, which are just so much more damage.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even look at the third and the fourth items. Third item, most people are going Runaan's Hurricane. Runaan's Hurricane's just always here. I'm looking at your build here, Tony. You don't have a single Runaan's Hurricane. So you said it's in. Oh, here we go. We did go Runaan's Hurricane, but you went that like fourth. So
Yes.
Oh no, that was second.
Here I had an experiment fun. This was for fun. I want to prove myself. Yeah, this doesn't feel good. It was horrible.
Okay, yeah,
it was horrible.
Okay, so you'll typically go Runaan's Hurricane fourth item, which is only 3% of people go that Tonirel. So you're like a freak with this. It's like
yes,
Tonirel's a psychopath.
But honestly, I feel like a lot of people in League go with builds and runes based by feel alone. It feels good to have attack speed now. But if you just test damage and you think about how the game works right now, where the game state is right now, after especially like the durability updates and everything we got, a Jinx level 11 has like 70 armor without any armor items. Lord Dominic's third compared to Runaan third deals like if I think of over 100 more DPS than Runaan.
That's a lot.
On a squishy target. And imagine now somebody buys armor boots, they buy, I don't know, Randuin Omen, they're Rammus, they buy Tormail. Yeah, you have to get that LDR. You have to. Even if they have 5 Yumis, I'm buying Lord Dominic's third. It's just that good. It's just more damage than Runaan. That's it. That's the only reason I'm buying it.
So if you need healing reduction, you'll buy Mortal Ramondo. That'll be like a fourth item. Is that what it would be?
Third, instead of Lord Dominic's, right?
Oh, so that's right. Third instead of Lord Dominic's. Okay, but then you would still build Lord Dominic's fourth item.
But you can buy both. They're both.
Oh, you can't buy both. Yeah, what am I talking about?
Yeah, they're both armor pen. Yes, it used to be a Zeal item, but it's not anymore.
Yeah. Okay,
yeah, sometimes you buy it. If they have Aatrox Soraka in the same team, yeah, buy it. But don't overbuy it. If they have Bloodthirster Draven, you don't need to buy it. Draven is not allowed to heal because he can touch you, so you don't need it, right? He's never going to heal if you play it correctly.
Okay, so talk about sort of your last items. Do you build? What do you I mean, a lot of these games were over by that point, right? What do you typically you're finishing your build off with, like item 5? Like, do you like autopilot on GA because Jinx is really easy to kill, or what do you think about the Bloodthirster here? This is what seems like most popular on item number 5.
We have 3 options, basically 3 scenarios. Default one, go Bloodthirster. Because it's 80 attack damage. It's a lot. It's huge. It gives you so much damage and it feels nice. Lifesteal, very good. But then you have other scenarios where they have Rengar and Pike. I don't know. They're on top of me all game. I'm going GA for sure. Or maybe they are a bit more attack damage heavy. They don't really have any AP damage. GA is going to be a lot of value with armor and revive because they W all the time. But then, they have Hui bot and Syndra mid. Yeah, probably Mo. Or like, Mo, Hexringer, it's going to do better because you need so much resist. And this gives you the most survivability, but also give you attack damage. Because going like pure defensive item, like, I don't know, Randuin Omen or something, it's probably not ideal. It's really not going to work as well on Jinx when that's the only defensive item you have. So it's better to buy like one of these attack damage and MR attack damage and armor hybrid items, like GA and Mo. Last item. But default Bloodthirster, amazing. Just it's also semi-defensive because it gives you shield. Lifesteal is also more HP. So yeah, It's good.
What about shield bow?
Shield bow,
Gives
yeah,
rate
this
E?
is a good point. Like shield bow, I experimented with it a little bit, and because it gives crit, going this last item makes no sense because Bloodthirster does what shield bow does, but better, right? But going shield bow second, for example, because they have 3 assassins, I can play Evelyn, Shaco, they have Rengarto. I don't know, like I can't play the game. You can go Yuntal, shield bow.
Wow,
It's good.
shield bow is second against heavy
Shield was
assassin
second
comps.
because
Wow.
it doesn't matter if you have damage if you're dead. It doesn't matter if you have
Yeah.
infinity edge because you're dead. So Shield allows you to survive the burst, and now you can kill the assassin, or at least buy more time for your teammates to kill the assassin. It's helpful because it doesn't matter no matter how much damage you have with infinity, like you're not going to be able to attack Rengar. He one shots. Only Shield could escape, could like help you in that scenario.
Okay, so I think that sort of wraps up our build section. Is there any other items you see Jinx players talk a lot about? It's like, Tonirel, what do you think about this item on Jinx or whatever? Is there any other narratives you need to break down or people's weird perceptions with how to build Jinx?
You have to make sure you just buy crit, because if you don't buy crit, you're just not going to deal in damage. You reach late game, no matter how fed you are, if you didn't buy crit, you buy Black Cleaver, you buy Kraken Slayer first because you like the item. I like the item myself, but it doesn't give crit anymore. You're just gonna lock in damage. 2, 3, 4 items, you're not gonna be able to kill anybody, especially a frontliner. So you have to go crit, no matter what. You just gotta rush the 100% crit. With exceptions, you might want to go double defensive if it's really bad, but you don't have to. Just go crit, it's gonna be fine.
All right, let's jump into our practice tool section now.
All right.
Okay, so Tonirel, this section here, we're going to be going over abilities, tips and tricks. How do we do damage as Jinx? What are some typical common mistakes you see with people's ability usage? We're going to assume, Tony, that people know the baseline of, Jinx's kit, how it works. But, anything that you think is really important to emphasize with how her kit works?
Yeah, so Jinx, honestly, is very, very straightforward. You just stay back, you just want to stay at your max range with rockets and deal damage. That's Jinx in a nutshell. But if you get into specifics, I see a lot of people struggling to really like switch between minigun and rockets properly. For example, I see a lot of people try to get to fights with minigun like this instead of trying to approach fights always in rockets and then maybe backing off preemptively, expecting a seal shot or something like that. So you really want to play around your max range. That's like if you want the most important things that people do wrong on Jinx, they don't use their max range properly. That's the biggest
Why?
thing.
Why don't they? Well, why do they feel like they have to run up and just use their minigun? I don't understand that.
Yeah, so when you think about it, a lot of people might say, oh, but yeah, minigun has more damage, right? It's more DPS. Look at the DPS here. We deal 700, but with rockets, only lower, right?
It feels boring. The minigun feels funner. Like you shoot so slowly, right?
Yeah, but imagine now you play against an ADC that has same range as you. Let's say Jinx has 525 range, and my ADC is a normal Ashe with 600, let's say. If you hit her, she hits you back. But if you stay with rockets and you hit her, she doesn't hit you back. So even though it's, less attack speed, less DPS, if you hit them and they don't hit you back, you're winning. You're not taking damage. It's amazing. And that's what you want to do. You never ever want to take damage. And this is why also like you don't really want to get defensive items and runes on Jinx. No. You need to rely on your positioning and your max long range. That's what makes Jinx Jinx, and that's why she's amazing.
So practical wise, Q just makes more sense with how League works. Like, yes, like in an intuitive sense, more damage, that's good. But you're thinking about range, you're thinking about kill threat, you're thinking about staying high health. So you have to use your range and go sort of in and out with your movement.
Exactly. That's just such a big part of League of Legends that's overlooked often. You just need to stay safe. Otherwise, you're not going to deal in damage. Less damage is better than no damage.
Talk to me about do you use the attack range indicator? Like, what's your keybinds for like maximizing damage here? Because maybe someone picking up Jinx, they don't really understand, the range of their Q versus their W. Sorry, their rocket versus their minigun.
Yeah, so when it comes to keybinds, I use something simple called player attack move. That's it. Not player attack move click. Because this, when you press the button, Jinx attacks already. I use player attack move on A, which means I press A, the range appears, and now I have to left click to attack. I know it's an extra click, but just seeing your range, especially on champion like Jinx, where your range changes constantly based on your minigun rockets, helps you keep your max range constantly. It's so good. I wish Riot enabled us to see the range constantly. For example, if you play Aphelios with green gun, there's like a little range indicator constantly. Jinx doesn't have that, so you gotta use attack move. Otherwise, it's gonna be a bit awkward to stay max range.
So even you now, Tonirel, with the amount of Jinx that you've played, you still use the indicator range of your range because you want to perfectly be on the cusp of it. Is that right?
Exactly. It's just you have to use this because your range, like also when you level up, you get more range per level here, rocket bonus range per level. So you just change it constantly each level. You just want to press A, it shows you the range. Perfect. You don't have to think about it. You have to think about other things. You free up some mental stack.
Okay, so that talks about the Q, I guess. So what else do we need to know about Jinx? What are some tips and tricks here?
So when it comes to your W, this is an ability that's often misused because a lot of people, I see them, they're chilling in laning phase and they just throw it randomly. And that's not really going to land, at least not often. And when it comes to Jinx, you do have big mana problems early game, especially because Chompers are 90 mana, for example. Use Chompers once, that's like a third of your mana pool early game. So you want to be smart with how you use your W, especially. Don't want to throw it randomly. You want to use W when you know it's going to land. For example, your support lands a spell, throw W. They are slow, they are CC, W is going to land constantly. Or you see enemies, especially let's say you bully enemies under turret. A lot of times they're going to walk through here. This is a perfect time to W. They can't really dodge anywhere. Turret is there, wall is there.
They're stuck.
It's great. They're stuck. Or when, let's say, people are in lane here and they walk along this wall here. Free W. They can't really dodge it because it's important to not use W, let's say, straight onto them like this. Use it slightly to the right because now even if they hug the wall, they can't dodge it. And they can go to the right, they're stuck, right? And this is how you want to use W, not spam it. And also a little trick with W, you can W and flash, which sometimes it helps.
It seems fun, but maybe not that practical. Yeah.
Sometimes I use it because they're chasing me, I double flash and get out. That's the only time I use it. Sometimes I use it, maybe once in 20 games, but yeah, something to keep in mind.
I guess that it's really fun to, league's you want to be using abilities, people's mindset is, right? They feel like they're not doing enough using abilities, but you're comfortable just sitting there auto-attacking and only waiting for high percentage Ws. That's the only time you don't waste it. It has to be like guaranteed to hit.
Yeah, because for example, you chase somebody. You chase them with rockets, basic attacks, and then W misses. Oh, now you rooted yourself because when you zap, you can't move. So I'm not going to catch them anymore. So it's like if you know it's not really going to land, it's best to just not use it at all.
And do you personally use the W range indicator as well? The W, like seeing they have the thin line, or you do not do that? You don't. You just
not really, because having my A clicking shows me attack range, and I know my W range is just almost double the rocket range, for example. And this kind of helps me gauge, I know it's going to reach around there. This is kind of how I got used to it. But when it comes to W, you kind of get used to it more than when it comes to basic attacks, because W is the same always, no matter what. And also, when you throw it, it shows the indicator. So you just get used to it really fast. You just start to know your W range constantly.
What are other things that you see Jinx players that you coach, Tony, the way they play Jinx, maybe movement or whatever? What other things do they mess up? Is it bad Chompers placement next?
Yes. Chompers are very low accurate because they don't work half the time. They really don't. They take a long time to reach, take a long time to arm. People can just go through them all of the time. It's very awkward. And the biggest problem I see people do, they don't use Chompers. That's simple.
They don't use it.
They don't use it. You get to a fight.
I'd love to use it.
Right? There's an enemy. You are here. They go to a fight and they start attacking. Okay, they play correctly. They use Q. They're very, very good players. They know how to use Q. But now the enemies flash and dash on you. Oh, that's awkward. What about you throw Chompers and then you start attacking? Now it's a bit more awkward for the enemies. Even if they have flash, they have to get really close to Chompers, then flash. That gives you more time to react. So basically, you can use your Chompers as a frontliner, as an ally. You have to use them
that's why you think of it as like a tank for you.
Exactly. Right? Because I see a lot of people, they get into fights, they get a couple passive stacks, they're very fast, And now teammates are behind you. Because you're so fast, you leave your teammates behind. And then you start attacking the next target, you're frontlining, they get on top of you. But if you just place chompers between you and them, now what? They can't do anything. They literally can't do anything.
What about when it comes to placing chompers on top of yourself? Let's say you got like against assassins or melee champions. Like I feel like Jinx players do that a lot, and it's a bit annoying because I play a lot of melee champs. Do you ever think about, or you think you would just save it, or you're already dead if they're already on top of you?
Yeah, so let's say an assassin comes from the river, right? You don't really want to place them, like, let's say, very close to them, because that way they just go through them. The chompers don't have time to arm. But then when it comes to placing them on top of you, right, this is not very great, because let's say they have Talon, he jumps on you. Well, he's gonna damage you anyway, because you're inside your chompers. What you want to do instead is, if you don't have much time, just throw them slightly in front, and now you can kite behind them. You can run around the chompers, be very annoying. Or if you have a lot of time, let's say you're trying to get your turret, you can throw them in front of you and run through them. Because a lot of the times, let's say you're here, you might not have the best angles to like throw them. I know you want to block somebody. Sometimes you don't have the best angles. Usually, let's say you are walking through the jungle. You might not have the best angles to throw chompers, let's say here or here to get away. You probably just want to get them in front of you for a better angle sometimes. It's kind of hard to explain, but usually, like legit, as long as you use chompers, they're not in the enemy's face where they're just going to dash through them before they activate. It's all good. You don't really have to overthink it. Just throw them, make sure you use them. This is the number one priority. And then everything else you just learn as you go.
And what do people need to know about your R ability, your ultimate?
Yeah, ultimate also. Very, very important skill that a lot of people throw for fun a lot of the times. I mean, it's a fun ability to throw a nuke. I mean, come on, it's fun, right? But you got to make sure don't waste it, because if you waste it, it could mean the difference between you get your passive or not at the beginning of a fight. So usually when it comes to your ultimate, a habit I have, I get level 6, instantly I'm looking, mid lane, top lane, anybody low HP. Just wanna look.
First thing you think, instantly.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, because Jinx in the early game, usually, you're probably not gonna win lanes. You're probably gonna go even most of the games.
So you're not killing the enemy. You're not killing your counterparts. You're looking to fish level 6 Rs on mid and top. That's actually your priority because you're not fighting. You're scaling a lot. Very interesting. I've never thought of it that way. But that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So sometimes, you're gonna have to use your ult in lane because you get kills and so on. But you don't know when that's gonna happen. But if you see somebody low HP in mid lane, I mean, that's like a free kill. Maybe you should do it. You should just do it. And the more you do it, the more you learn how to do it. So don't be afraid to throw them, even if you're unsure, he's low HP, but I don't know, he's got 450 HP, can I do that much damage? Don't worry, just do it. You're gonna
limit test.
Limit test, right? Smart limit testing. And then when it comes to using your ultimate in team fights, let's say, don't try to use ultimate like right at the start. They just started engaging, everybody's still full HP. Don't do it, because ultimate is missing health. You want to like wait it out a little bit, see how it goes. And then, a couple people are like maybe low HP, half HP, you can start throwing it. Don't do it right at the start unless you can just get a passive from it. That's good, yeah.
So your viewing is an executability. They're low HP, and that's the thing that helps you get your passive reset, and you get a lot of movement speed.
Yes, it's basically just to execute somebody, like a collector in a way, right? Or definitely a couple tricks as well. When it comes to, I think in the game we're going to watch in a bit, there's a perfect example of enemies are rooted by your chompers, by an ally. Want to make sure you use your W and ultimate when they can't move. Because a lot of people just save it. Let's say somebody's here full HP, you hit, chompers, basic W. They're like half HP, an ultimate doesn't kill. So people would hit a couple more times, then try to ult, now enemies flashed away. Instead, what you could do is ult first, then basic attack. And then kill them. So they can dodge your basic attack after they're rooted. It's very, very important to just throw spells, W and ultimate, whenever you know they're going to land. That's the most important thing, because if they miss, don't have them. But if they land, even if they land on somebody that's slightly more HP than you would want, it's still better than not landing them in the first place.
Any final things before we jump into
Yes.
your gameplay?
A couple of things I want to mention as well. Remember the W flash? It works with ultimate as well. Not useful, but it's funny, right? All right, then I think you can do eat chompers and stuff like that. Doesn't matter. That's whatever. But what's also important is when it comes to face checking. Let's say you just want to farm raptors. Throw chompers. Don't face check. Chompers give vision in the bush.
Give vision. So it's very good for scouting areas.
Exactly. And you want to scout out the area. You want to get vision before you do anything. Don't want to face check. And also choppers are very funny because you could throw them, you can kind of split them. If you throw them inside the wall, it's split. It's very weird, right? They just go to the nearest position available. So you could scout very weird situations, like all around the bush here, for example. Compared to a ward, you place a ward here, it doesn't see behind, whereas chompers see everything. But really, those are the only tricks I use on Jinx. Like nothing really crazy. Make sure you use your Ws, chompers, ultimates when you know they're gonna land, time max range Q. That's it. All the little flashy little tricks, good to remember, but less important.
Beautiful. All right, let's look at some of your gameplay now here, Tonirel and Challenger. Okay, so Tonirel, before we jump into your game, I want to ask you some sort of high-level, big-picture theory around Jinx. Talk about champion identity, early lane reference points. So, at a high level, how do you win games with Jinx? What are you trying to achieve when you load into the game with this champion?
Yeah, Jinx honestly changes a lot when you play her below Master compared to above Master, because below Master, a lot of times you can just get away with many things. You can just chill, scale, play for late game no matter what. But above Master, you're gonna get bullied a lot. They're gonna pick a champion like here, they have Caitlyn. They're gonna bully a lot. You won't be able to do much. So you just got to make sure you don't die in laning phase. That's one of the most important things, because if you die in laning phase in Challenger, enemy snowball, game is over in 20 minutes. You never get to scale.
It's
So you
that
gotta
punishing.
make sure.
It's that punishing.
It's that punishing.
Okay.
So this is why Jinx is not very popular above Master. You don't see many people play her really. And I feel like there's like no Jinx OTPs like I said. Nobody wants to play her because they could just play a champion like Lucian, Draven, you get a couple kills, game's over, enemies have half.
It's too hard. You're like playing the game on like ultra hard mode, like permanently turning around.
Basically, yes, in a way, right?
Okay, so how does Jinx differ from traditional ADCs? Like, is she? I mean, a lot of people think that Jinx is like the archetype, like ADC. You do a lot of damage. Front to back. You have no mobility. How do you differ from most other AD carries, or are you just another normal AD carry with no mobility?
Jinx is basically the ADC that has like no mobility, nothing. You just deal damage with basic attacks mostly, right? Similar to Aphelios, but Aphelios is more of a caster, let's say. Jinx, she's a basic attacker. Most of her damage comes from basic attacks. So a lot of people struggle with that because using abilities is fun. Dealing damage with abilities is fun. Whereas Jinx doesn't have much burst. She just DPS, 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 and you constantly have to have good spacing, good positioning. Otherwise, you can't really make her work.
Okay. And where do you think Jinx lands in the meta currently, like at the time of the recording here? Like, do you think much about meta and like where? I mean, obviously you're a one trick Tony, all right? So you play Jinx no matter what meta it is. But how do you think her state is right now?
Honestly, Jinx, I would say, has always been good. Right? She was always good. You can play Jinx. She does well. She does damage. Perfect. Right now, I would say she's very similar to that, but also crit at the moment. Crit deals damage, so that's also nice. Crit builds work really well. So honestly, for the average player, she's your ticket to master elo. Like
Wow.
for sure. I recommend everybody play her because she's also very fun. You never get bored of her, really. I played her since release, since 2012 or 13, I don't even remember. I never got bored, and she does well every time. I never get bored of her.
So that's your statement, Tony Roll. Jinx is the best AD carry to get to master. Is that the statement that you live by?
Yes, 100% for sure. Above master, then it's like, okay, you want meta, you can play meta and stuff. Yeah, playing meta to min max everything for challenger is like somewhat, it's gonna help you, right? For sure, because everybody at level min max is everything, and you can't just play something that doesn't really work as well. But I mean, at the end of the day, like if I'm not having fun, why am I even playing the game? I just want to play my character and have fun. And if it works, cool. If not, hey, let's wait for a Jinx buff and something. Maybe it's gonna work for a little bit as well. Why not?
All right, so let's go back into this VOD now here, Tonirel, and I want to get sort of your mindset of like, what do you think about sort of level 1? Where are you going? What do you think about in terms of team comps? Like, do you think about team comps here? Do you think about your lane matchup? Where's your focus in this game right now? What are you thinking about?
So when it comes to Jinx, thing about team comps is it's very important because there could be a lot of threats against you, especially in laning phase, where as you can see here, they have Caitlyn. And Caitlyn, she's a bit of a lane bully. I don't like playing against her because she just outranges me early game. Even with rockets, I have 605 range, she has 650, with just basic attacks. It's wild. So early game, my goal is to never die. If I get out of laning phase 0-0-0, I can play the game. I'm confident in myself. I can just get 2 items and carry from there with good positioning, good team fighting, and with great CS, because knowing how to move around the map and getting CS is very important on Jinx as well. In the early game, for example, here, my goal is to just stay full health as much as possible. So maybe, let's say, if you are half HP, for example, because you greed for some minions right now in the early game, Rengar can't really help you anymore. How is he going to help a Jinx that's half HP? Compared to you lose some caster minions in the early game, you trade some gold for more HP. Now maybe Rengar could help you, right? That's also something to consider with Jinx.
One thing we actually didn't mention the runes builds items, Flash Barrier. Do you ever go cleanse? Is Flash Barrier just the best thing to go right now?
So right now, Barrier is just broken on ADC. It's just too good because it's 3-minute cooldown, a ton of shield compared to like heal and cleanse and everything is just 4 minutes. So Barrier is the way to go. But some games, you can go cleanse. Unfortunately, I see people kind of overuse cleanse. For example, here they have Twisted Fate. A lot of people would say, yeah, cleanse for TF because he's going to ult and get on top of you late game. But I mean, there's a solution to that. You just don't stay alone, and it's never going to happen, right? So you don't need cleanse for that. All the time would take cleanse is, let's say they have Ashe in bot lane. Yeah, Ashe bot lane would be annoying. She has level 6 shields, you're kind of dead. Or, they have Leona. You could take cleanse against Leona. She ults, you can't do anything, right? So when it's like guaranteed you're going to get CC'd, you should probably take cleanse. But I wouldn't worry about it too much. If you just take Baron every game, it's going to be fine, whatever.
All right, so let's take a look at your level 1 here. So it looks like we're with our team. Is there any specific location you like to walk? Do you like to use your ward level 1? Like, where do you usually stand if you're not invading or helping your team?
So usually when I'm blue side, I stay like in front of Raptors-ish around there. Kind of above where we are right now. Yeah, a bit to the left. Not in the bush, just a bit to the left. Not in the bush, to the left of it.
Not in the bush, to the left, like this.
Around there, right? Maybe a bit to the left, around there, right?
Like here.
And then when I am red side, I like to stay around the pixel bush in river, the little bush.
This one here?
Yes, but not inside it, behind it, and then I move like up and down, right?
So
the problem, the reason I'm not staying in tri-bush, let's say even if I'm blue side and I want to go next to the tri-bush, I don't want to stay inside the tri-bush because then it's like enemies hug the wall, it's too late. You are dead by the time you see them. But if you kind of leave the tri-bush and you go a little bit inside the river, you can see enemies from miles away and just run away. It's all good. But then,
so you don't sit in the bushes. You're sort of like, on the outskirts, you can run away. So you're not going to get caught in the bush.
Exactly, right? Because if you stay in the bush, they go next to wells, it might be bad. It might be too late already by the time you see them. But then another thing that's very underrated on Jinx level 1, you saw here level 1, we stacked. You should stack with your teammates in a bush. Just say stack in chat, ping a bush somewhere, usually still like right next to the red buff, or usually next to red buff, bot side, top side, doesn't matter. You stay with your teammates there, a fight happens level 1, you get passive, guess what? You can get Penaki level 1. You hit
you're
a rocket.
Good level 1 champ. Yeah, you're really good level 1.
Enemies are going to be grouped level 1, and you have rockets. You hit somebody with rockets, you hit 4 people, it's like 200 damage per basic attack level 1. No other champion can do that. No other champion.
So you ping your team and tell them to stack? Like, where you do that every game? Like, do you tell people to stack here on blue side? Like, you want them to stack here? Like, where do you go?
I actually stuck like right next to the red buff somewhere.
You like
one of this
here.
One or the bush to the left. Yeah, the bush to the left sometimes, or sometimes around the mid lane. Depends where my team also wants to stack, right?
Okay.
But it's not a rule. When they have Milo, Caitlyn, maybe I don't want to stack, but I think teammates call the stack here, right? But when they have a hook champion like Pike, Thresh, Blitz, always stack. You're going to be surprised. They're going to invade, call your team and stack. It's so huge. You're going to get a huge advantage. It's crazy.
Okay, so talking about, sort of starting in lane or whatever, you're already thinking right now, I'm already conceding this lane, I don't need to be in lane, I'm already going to lose level 2, like, do you not, like,
yeah, here
it looks like Trundle's doing some weird things, so you're trying to, like, maybe come help.
Yeah, I want to help because I know in this lane, I really won't be able to touch minions. First couple waves, I'm expecting already, they're going to bully me and they're going to bring the minions under my turret, and I know that already. So if I lose some minions, it's fine, but at the same time here, I'm like, okay, she's going to Q basic me, but I get the 3 melees. And I have Nami for sustain. I'm more than 80% health. This is fine. So basically, I want to preserve HP, but I'm also using HP as a resource. If you're full health, you're not regening anything. You're missing free HP, basically, right? So taking a little bit of damage.
Tony. So like, because I'll say everyone right now here, Tony, like Caitlyn's walking at them. You got your support there. They would start hitting Caitlyn right now. You're so mindful about your HP. You're literally just sitting back and then, like, I mean, maybe you're really confident with, like, the minions, but you're completely preserved. I'm so fascinated by this. What's the thought process here?
So a lot of times when you're like 2v1, let's say Caitlyn walks up, you have Nami next to you. Maybe you want to hit. It's like 2v1, the triangle rule that I teach all the time. But Caitlyn, she's going to basic Q, basic net. She's going to just out-trade you, like, no matter what, because you can't deal as much burst as she can. So there's going to be champions like Caitlyn, maybe Draven. You can't really trade with them because they're always going to out-trade you no matter what. So you just got to be mindful of that, preserve your HP, don't try to trade for no reason, and you go from there.
Yeah, I'm seeing already hearing the preserving HP like a lot. Like I think it's going to be a big focus watching over these VODs. I'm really going to pay attention to like how you make sure you're always healthy.
Yeah. So on Jinx, you just need patience, especially early game. You need to be patient and you need to be ready to concede some minions. Right? Especially when it comes to these caster minions. A lot of people get baited into taking caster minions when they would take damage. That's not ideal, If enemies want to bully you under turret while take casters, maybe you shouldn't take the caster. Keep your HPI, as we discussed earlier. Keep your HPI, and then maybe your team can help you because they're perma pushing into you.
So you've just dropped a lot of minions on a tower there, Tony. You don't care about that? That's just normal? You're going to drop some minions early against Caitlyn? Is it hard? Because it's hard to last it on the tower until you get AD. Is that right?
Yeah, like that wave there under turret was a bit awkward. Minions had very awkward HP. This one, right? It was so awkward. I think Minions had very awkward HP. I think the one before this, the first wave they crashed, I think, right? But I just try my best to farm this one, right? It's just very awkward HP, and I don't have an ability yet, so it's going to be hard to farm this, no matter what, And I'm just trying to focus on getting the melees and then the casters over, right? It is what it is. You can just hope that your support might help you farm this as well, like she does here. Nami helps me here, which is very nice. And then also here, the waves meet. They're on the waves and can't really contest, so I'm just going to drop a ward. Why not? Let's get some vision, because I can't really go there and do much anyway. I'm okay to lose minions right now. It's all good. Right, and being mindful of Milo abilities, Caitlyn Qs, Milo Qs, just don't get hit. That's my priority right now. And what's really cool is that you can farm with W as well. Let's say this cannon minion is low HP. You could maybe try to W it sometimes, unless your support picks it up for you for sure. And yeah, Jinx at a high level, it's very boring. It's just boring. I know that, but I'm playing Jinx.
Do you think it's boring though? This looks boring, but do you have fun? Is this fun? It must be fun to you because you do this all the time, right? Like, do you like playing that scaling game?
Yeah, I just like being annoying to enemies. I like when enemies try to kill me and they can't. It's the funniest thing ever.
You'll play like a mini game. It's like a mini game to you.
It's so fun. Yeah, it's so fun, so enjoyable. Not a lot of people want to do it because people just want to go in and get kills all the time. But the more patient you are, and I'm a very patient person, the more you're going to be rewarded. And it's amazing, right? It's fun.
Interesting. So yeah, I feel like Jinx requires a certain type of archetype of player. Like if you're a Draven one trick, like Jinx just doesn't seem like it's going to be for you.
If you're a Draven player, go Collector Jinx or something, because otherwise you're going to suffer. Okay.
But yeah, seriously, I like that mindset. I like how you create fun at playing a mini game of the enemy trying to kill you. Like, hey guys, I'm gonna scale, try and kill me. It's your responsibility to win the game. I'm not gonna let you do that. That's how you win the game. How you think about
Yeah,
winning the game.
time is in your favor, so play with time. You don't have to rush anything. You don't have. If you make no mistakes, enemies will make a mistake eventually. That's my plan. They will make a mistake, and they're gonna see. They're gonna make plenty. I'm here. I'm chilling. I'm waiting for them to make mistakes in the end, and I just punish them.
So this here was your ideal first base, right? Or like your most common base. You go longsword Carl.
Yeah, if I have 800 gold, longsword curl, let's go. I just farm now. I can just turbo farm, play for 2 items basically. That's my goal. And I can farm under turret because I have 70 attack damage. Look at this. No problem, right?
No
Another
problem.
little trick I'm doing here, as you can see, I'm not last hitting the minions right away. I'm waiting with my basic attack for the second tower shot. Because that way, when the waves meet, they meet closer to our turret, so we can stay safer. So they can zone us off. Because if the wave is in the middle, they can just bully off the wave. They can go past the wave, and you can't do much about it. But if the wave is close to their turret, they can't really do that anymore.
Very little detailed thing I see. So a lot of people would just like, oh, the minions, I one-shot it, but you're literally min-max in every millisecond. I'm going to kill the caster just before the second tower shot hits it, so that my minion wave doesn't go too far up. It's just going to sort of stay out here. That's the mindset.
Yeah, like they don't see enough people do this, honestly. It's such a little thing you can do easily, and I don't know why people don't do it. It's crazy. And as you can see, right, I'm just respecting the Caitlyn. I don't want to trade 1-for-1. And right, this is why I don't want to go crazy constantly. Look, Nami goes a little bit too far. She's dead, right? TF ult, Straddle is here. Yeah, this is Jinx early game in Challenger Elo. They want you constantly. Just gotta be mindful of that and try to avoid tower dives. For example, this ward here I placed, because if Trundle is still here, trying to dive me right now instead of taking Drake, I see him and I run away. I drop the wave, but I don't die. It's much better than just dying here and losing the wave anyway, right? So with Jinx, you gotta know that in a lot of situations, you have to choose between bad and worse. So you want to choose the bad one, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, that's cool. I like that mindset. I feel like a lot of people just accept the worst, Tony, don't they? They just like, they can't accept dropping a wave. They just can't do it. It's like, oh, I'd rather just die, just drop the wave here. But you're like, okay, well, if I keep alive, I can get the next wave. It's all good.
Exactly, right? If you die now, you lose the wave anyway. So might as well just lose the wave and not die, right? It just makes perfect sense, you know?
Choose between bad or worse.
Yep. All right. So here, I think I remember this moment. Here, I didn't really want to push because I don't want to expose myself when Rengar is topside, but Nami pushed, and maybe I should have pinged her to back off. But also in lane, when it comes to playing ADC, you need to really be able to adapt to what your support does. If you can't do that, you will struggle a lot because supports, they have a different playstyle than you a lot of the times. So you just got to be mindful of that, kind of get to their mind what they want to do, and just play accordingly. Adapt to what they're doing. Don't try to force what you know is good, even though you know it's good. Because if your support is not going to follow, it doesn't matter if it's good. Now, because you're playing 1v2, it's not going to be good.
I like what you said before there. You know, I'm a jungle main, so I love it when I hear stuff like this, Tony, where you said, I don't want to expose myself. I know the wave's screwed. Rengar's topside here, so I can't expose myself. You're literally thinking about your jungler's position. Is that a huge part of what's on your mental stack in the lane phase? Where is my jungler?
Yeah, so when it comes to my things I have on my mind in laning phase, usually is, okay, keep HP high, hard lane, try to be mindful of your jungler, because your jungler a lot of the times just tells you how to play the game. If my jungler is bot, all right, we have an even fight at least, we can play the game. But if my jungler is top, I mean, how am I going to fight? Like, enemy jungle could be here, I'm potentially 2v3. I can't afford to do it. So I'm just going to concede a lot of some minions here, it's fine. Again, I don't die, we scale, it's good.
And when it comes to last season, obviously you're mostly using the minigun for melees, and then, I mean, so you don't want to rocket minions because that pushes the wave too fast, ideally, right? But sometimes you need to rocket minions to keep range safety so you can last
right.
it. So I guess that's the challenge with you as Jinx, right? I need to weigh up Do I AoE the wave to get the last hits, or do I use the minigun to secure, like, clean HP so I can hit things under tower? Is that sort of the challenge that you face?
Yeah, like farming with Jinx under turret is just a mini game in its own. If you see here, for example, if you rewind like 3 seconds or something like that, right? After this cannon minion dies, right here, pause. Right? Look at this. You see like 1 minion under turret that needs to take 1 more tower shot. The melee one. The one to the left, that one. This is 1 more tower shot. And then the low HP caster needs 1 basic from me. Or sorry, like 2 basic attacks from me to die. Or 3, whatever. But it's like if the tower hits it, it's dead. So I know that I don't need to hit the melee right now. I should hit the caster first. And that's what I'm doing. Hit the caster once, hit the melee now. Now hit the caster again. This is like little min-maxing you do with farming after you get used to it. And what I like about Jinx compared to other ADCs, when I try to farm on the turret with other ADCs, they just don't have the attack speed. It's hard to do little tricks like this because you just don't have attack speed. Compared to Jinx, you have minigun, you have no items, you have over an attack per second already, level 1. It's not level 1 maybe, but level 2, 3, it's crazy. And now jungler's recalled here, and guess what? It's more or less... Look, I'm not hitting the minions. This is something I see people do a lot. A mistake, a big mistake. You have minions in your face, they hit the minions. Here we had 3 minions close to our turret. I just don't hit them. Right? I want the wave close to my side. Again, my Rengar recalled, he's going top side. Chill, let's chill. He's going void grabs. Let's respect that. Let's not do anything crazy. And honestly, I think like what makes you a good Jinx player is learning to play with your team. Like, as crazy as that sounds, it's not enough people do it. The only thing about what they want...
People say, Tonirel, I can't trust my team because my teammates all suck. I'm in Emerald, I'm in Platinum, my teammates all suck. So you're recommending even lower-elo people, you got to think about your team as Jinx. That's how you be a good Jinx player.
Yes, because you can't play by yourself when you think about it. You can't do much by yourself with Jinx, especially in the early game. What can you do? Even late game, like you can't frontline by yourself. It's very rough. It's very rough to do anything. So you just got to get in the mindset of your teammates, see what they want to do, what they're doing, and adapt to their playstyle because they will not adapt to yours. And also, like when I hear people calling their teammates bad, it makes me laugh a little bit because you're in solo queue, right? These teammates have very similar MMR to yours. So if you call them bad, you're calling yourself bad as well. So it doesn't make sense, right? I never call my teammates bad. I just say, they misplayed. They're not playing that well right now. It's okay. Let's try to make it work anyway. I'll just believe in myself. No big deal.
And your mindset, Tony, is to more adapt to them and put yourself in their shoes. You're constantly thinking, what does my Nami want to do here? What does my Rengar want to do? And I will adapt to you. Is that more so your mindset rather than forcing people to come do what you want?
Yes, but also, I think here I remember what's going to happen. Look, Milio is topside. So now I'm in control. I'm in the driver's seat. I know we are 2v1 here. So I know we can play aggressive now. Sometimes you got to step up. You need to make your own decisions. And in the end, looks like, as you can see from my positioning, I'm just going very aggressive and we're just diving this Caitlyn because Milio is not here, right? So a lot of people are afraid to make their calls as well, right? It's a fine balance between what do my teammates want and what do I want. And all you can do is basically what I do all of the times. Just look at the numbers. I have more numbers, more teammates than enemies. Let's try something. Let's do something. The opposite happens. Let's take it slower.
I find people really struggle with that, Tony, because if you think about what just happened this game, you played really defensive, really safe, waiting for them to make mistakes for 10 minutes. And suddenly you flip that switch to like, okay, Milio, stop. I'm going aggressive. I'm killing. I'm pushing forward. That's very hard for people to do, right? Because they've just been in this mindset for 10 minutes. But you're instantly able to just flip it. It's like, okay, now time to pressure. So I guess it looks like a good Jinx player knows when to be aggressive, when to stop being like, really defensive or whatever.
Yes, that's a very hard skill to master when you play Jinx. Or ADC in general, right? You need to switch between aggressive and passive constantly. You have to be able to do it. And a lot of people can do one, but not really
One,
adapt
that's
to the
right.
second
They
one.
can't do the other. It's like Draven players, or whatever. It's the opposite. They only have one mode: go forward, go forward. They can't just sit still for freeze the wave or just chill out for a couple of minutes, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I find that a lot. Players are very struggling at switching between the modes. They only one, and they do that one thing. It's like our junglers. Junglers just permanently invade and they just start dying again and again. They don't have that mindset. It's like, I can invade, sure, but I should also be, a little bit smart and still play my experience and goal game and invade on my windows. My teammates have blame priority.
Exactly. Yeah, you just got to
Let's
be
go
able
back here.
to. Yeah, so here, right, I see a great opportunity. I'm holding the wave for Rengar to be able to gank, right? Look how far Caitlyn's walking just because I'm holding the wave. So I'm like, okay, we get a free kill, right? Let's go. But Challenger games, yeah, there's a lot of 4v4 bot lane, as you can see. And we couldn't get the kill on Caitlyn. I don't get my passive. Oh, well, we lose. That's Jinx.
Yep.
You don't get passive, right? You could be 0-5 with Jinx, but if you get passive, you're 5-0 suddenly. That's Jinx. So here we couldn't get the passive. I don't get my reset. Oh well, I don't have damage anymore, unfortunately. But I'm still chilling. One thing that I see a lot of people do as well after a fight like this, it's like a fight goes bad, and now they start flaming, they start typing, or they start worried, they start, oh no, we lose Drake now, and then all these negative thoughts.
We're behind. It's 5-9. Oh no, we're behind. We're going to lose the game.
Exactly.
Team diff.
Team diff, yeah. But instead, here I'm just thinking, okay, I reach lane. What do I do? What's the plan? What's the idea? Right? What do I do next? That's what matters. And so here I'm just trying to push this, get this way out. And now I saw Trundle going to our jungle. Okay, right? I try to maybe check, go help. But if Nami recalls, maybe I'm just gonna chill, right? So you just constantly think about what to do, where's my teammates, what are they doing, what are enemies doing, not really focusing on what happened. Win or lose the last fight doesn't really change what happens now. Here, even if I have Yunta right now, I will not go hit that wave because I didn't know where they were. I didn't know like Trundle could gank right now. Caitlyn is also still stronger than me. Even though I have Yunta, let's say, Kate will still outrange me. That doesn't really change. She can still bully me. And here I was just waiting for
thing
Nami.
with Jinx. You could just W from safety. Like if you can't walk up to the wave because your team's in, dead, you can still get last some minions with W, which is still pretty cool aspect.
Exactly. This makes her also like really, really decent in a hard matchup, right? And this is why I personally just blind pick Jinx every game. I take the first pick from my teammates, so hopefully my teammates get to counter pick the enemies, and I'm just gonna chill if I have a hard matchup, and it's just fine. No need to worry. And as you can see here, right, that Caitlyn, yeah, you shouldn't mess with that a little. I pushed my limits a bit too much there.
So let's talk about this here because you talked about in the practice tool section here. It's like R's an execute ability, but you're just W into R all the time. Like the UCQ, like you always use it even if they're not in execute range. The R because it's just too good of an R situation.
Yeah, here I'm like, okay, I'm gonna ult because I have an opportunity to maybe get some damage on them. So might as well ult, put it on cooldown rather than just not use it all. And like 80 seconds later, I have it up anyway. So might as well use it, right?
Because it's high percentage. You can hit it with your chompers.
Yeah, it's like some damage is better than no damage, right? And because I did, look, now, she's lower now, right? It's good. It's fine. All right. Looks like another fight is starting. Again, like the standard 4v4 bot lane. But yeah, this is just a hard lane and it's really hard. Like she hits a couple headshots, a Q, my HP is gone. So me trying to go for that little trade there lost kind of my entire HP bar, which wasn't ideal, right? I thought we could maybe burst her down because Nami ulted and everything, but I overestimated my damage there a little bit. But that's fine, right? As long as you don't die, it's all good. You keep to get waves. Like here, you just get another wave for free. And honestly, because mid-game starts now, a skill that's really, really cool, like you got a master on Jinx, is knowing when to stay for waves or not. Here, for example, I stayed for this wave, even though a fight just happened bot lane. For two reasons, right? First, I saw Trundle top lane, I'm pretty sure. So I know the jungle is not here. And then, I mean, Caitlyn got first turret. What does she do? She usually would go mid, let's say. That's what most people would do. So I know they're not going to be here for a little bit at least. But in this case, I mean, Caitlyn went bot anyway because I think TF was mid, right? The game is ever changing. But basically now in mid game, the game becomes turn-based in a way. I go mid, catch the waves. That's my number one priority. That's my job. I need to be there and catch the wave every time. And then I just go with my teammates and see what's up. You know, if the fight is good, let's go. If the fight is bad, let's do something else. And that's basically it. Legit, sounds very simple, but I mean, in reality, it's, you know, there's so many situations happening constantly. You just got to make split decisions constantly, like here, for example, right? I'm not going to help the Nami. She's already dead. Might as well stay mid, wait for that wave instead of trying to go maybe kill TF. If I do that, I lose a wave. Every wave I get, I scale 30 seconds faster. That's kind of how I see it.
That's your mindset.
If I lose a wave, if I lose a wave, I scale 30 seconds later. Right? And here, for example, even though I'm under turret, right? And I want to defend the turret, I kept my distance because Trundle was coming. So I didn't die, which is great, right? A lot of people think just because you're under turret, you're safe. You're not safe, not at all. Right?
A lot of people walking up hitting this. They'll be hitting right now. They'll be walking up right
exactly,
now, 100%.
Right? When it comes to farming, you need to have patience because you don't need to hit the minion right away. You need to let the turret hit it twice, then you hit it yourself. And now because I kept my distance, look, I'm just fine. Play Chompers, make him go around a little bit, and manage to get out this time.
This is so important, Tony. 90% of AD carries would die right there. 100%.
Yes,
I'm the jungler killing the AD carry there. The AD carry always dies there. I'm so impressed by this. It's like crazy.
It's a game of patience when you play Jinx.
And it's the bad and worst thing again. I would rather survive and lose my tower than die and try and defend my tower.
Because if I die, I don't get this wave. Right? This wave I cannot get if I die. But not because I didn't die, I get the wave. That's huge. It's passive.
I really hope that this video, Tony, is sort of like eye-opening for people. It's like, this is what one of the best Jinx players in the world, One Tricks, is how they're playing the game and winning the game. It's like, wow, like maybe I actually, because a lot of people just don't have faith. People just think, oh, like I got to do crazy things. I got to help my team. Like, how do I impact the game? But you're like basically playing perfect Jinx gameplay from your eyes right now, right? And you know, this is all you can do.
I'm basically doing nothing in a way, which is funny, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes doing less is more. Yeah, that's about it. And also here, right? Look, I'm keeping the wave here at least a little bit because I'm thinking if the next wave arrives, maybe I will grab the wave closer to my turret again. Although here, I just really, really would love to recall because I have like money for a BF sword. But look, I'm looking to recall, but then I cancel my recall because, okay, TF catches the wave. And also, you see, like I'm not waiting mid lane. Instead of waiting mid lane, I was kind of going in my jungle towards Rengar. You gotta like learn to hover your teammates. When there's nothing to do, try to go towards them. Nothing happens, cool, you go back. But if something happens, you're there. Give yourself more options.
Because a lot of people right now, Tony, they'll be like, oh, I'm just going to wait for the next mid wave. And they'll just be standing here. And but you're saying like, if you can't catch the wave, you should just start walking towards Rengar. Even if nothing happens, just walk towards him so that you can help if something crazy happens. That's your mindset. It's like wave, move, wave, move.
Like imagine like Milio tried to ward right next to Rengar, for example. I would be there to kill Milio. But if I wasn't, Milio would just ult and get out maybe, right?
I feel like that's a big part of playing high-intensity League of Legends. So I think a lot of people just autopilot, especially, you know, they're so bored with Jinx. It's like, oh, just catch mid. That's all I'm doing. I'm on mid, catch you. That's what Tony says, mid-wave. But it's like, it's more than that. It's like mid-wave and check team. Mid-wave, check team.
Yeah, and what I really like about this quote-unquote boring gameplay is the fact that you have time to think about other things. And that's huge because I feel like people don't think enough in their games. Like, for example, I just mentioned autopiloting. I can't really play more than 4 hours of League every day. I just cannot do it. It's too much for me. I just don't play well, so I stop. Right? I just play the game when I know I can play the game. And if I can't play the game, I'll just do something else instead. Have some fun, play other games or review my games or do something else. Right? Learning League is not all about playing League, which is also very, very cool to think about.
Okay, so let's look at this sequence here, Tony. So we push the wave. So this is again moving with team, right?
Yeah, push wave. Let's go with team. Herald. Okay, let's go. Right. I ping Rengar, right? I ping assistance on him because I want him to be here as well. This is something people don't really do. I want to do something. Let's ask my team for help to make sure we have best chances to succeed, right? And in the mid game, you kind of become you can become like a team leader sometimes if you ping very smart. And yeah, we push mid and I just go with team. I get a kill, right? It's that simple. It's crazy. And now I'm recalling. And actually, am I? Yes, I think I'm. Mirror's being annoying. But yeah, it's all about patience, wait for the moment, and then you go crazy. That's Jinx in a nutshell.
And the enemy will make mistakes. That's your mindset. You're very comfortable waiting for them to make mistakes.
Exactly, because like enemies are humans. They can be rank 1 challenger. They're still humans. They still make mistakes. The difference, I always say this, the difference between a challenger player and an iron player is the fact that iron players make mistakes more often. That's it. Like that's the only thing differentiating them. And here we have a fight that I'm very, very happy to join because I saw, like, I think their TF was top.
And it's a perfect fight. You have distance. They're not focusing you. They're using all their abilities on your teammates, and you're just coming to clean up.
Yeah. Like, that's ideal, right? You don't want to be in the fights right away. I see a lot of people, let's say the enemies have Malphite, for example. They see Malphite, they want to hit Malphite. Maybe you shouldn't. You should wait for him to ult first, right? That's very important. And also in these weird, awkward places, like that moment there, you need to make sure that you're not frontlining. If your teammates kind of back off, you gotta back off as well. I see a lot of people try to like keep hitting all of the times
by themselves. They're they frontline Jinx.
Yeah, it's very easy to lose track of what's happening around your teammates because it's like I got my passive, I have my range, I'm attacking, I'm going crazy.
They go
where's my team? Where's my team? Oh no, what happened? Right? And this is like a crazy 1 minute attack and fight. We've been here for a while. I'm just trying to not get killed. I'm trying to play as safe as possible and wait for my opportunity, right? And I think, their Trundle is dead, so we can just do Ataka, no problem. But then something very funny happened. Right? So talking about Chompers usage, right? This skill on TF and Caitlyn we got because I placed Chompers, which is just wild to think about. I just placed Chompers, right? I get Atakan, I see TF, instinct is to place Chompers. I see TF, I place Chompers. That's it. I did it without thinking. It just happened. And because I did it, now I'm like, wait, it landed. I W while he's rooted. I flash, go for the kill. And then Caitlyn also dies as well, right? And luckily I'm in bush, so I didn't die from Caitlyn net, but cool. This is why building habits is so important. You know that I'm fighting, I need to use Chompers. You use Chompers, and suddenly something great happens without even thinking about it, which is wild.
And that's where you're saying a lot of people just not place Chompers there because people forget about that ability. They just stop placing Chompers. There's never place it from your experience.
Yeah, they usually just either face tank the TF. Let's say you have passive, you want to go minigun the TF, or they would just run away. They never really think to use Chompers.
Yeah, they'll run away. I think they'll run away because they're like, oh my God, I got to keep my distance. Tonirel keeps telling me to tell you distance, but that's going back to he's alone. You have your whole team there. Go forward. Get aggressive. You have barrier. You have flashed.
Yeah, that's also true. If you have summoners, you can play a bit more crazy. Right? You can, let's say, you could greed for some more fights. You could greed for a mid wave. Let's say if you have flash, you have options, right? But when you don't have flash, it's a bit harder. Like here, for example, I don't have sums anymore. So the way I'm gonna play is gonna change a little bit. I'll be more on the cautious side because giving the enemies your bounty is probably not good. Although I don't think I have a bounty here. I think enemies are not that ahead. All right. Let's see what happens here.
So you thinking about your IE gold here, your Infinity Edge gold? Are you saying I want to just stay on the map for Infinity Edge gold, or you not really thinking that much about that?
Honestly, like I never recall for items really. Like I recall when it makes sense. And in this sequence, like recalling made sense because, you know, we just got Drake, a fight happened, enemies, we don't really know where they could be. We got the bot wave, we try to get turret, oh, sign is there. Let's just recall, because if you overstay, then maybe more enemies will arrive, TF will ult and everything. But in this example, I mean, Simon made a mistake. He didn't know about Rise, I think. So he just died. I might as well follow a fight if it's really good, even though my initial goal was to recall there. But now it's my time to shine, basically. Like you see, I'm 2-1-4, minute 24. I didn't really do anything crazy, didn't do that much. But now I have 2 items. Now it's like I can actually deal a lot of damage. So I'll be more willing to maybe, let's say, drop mid waves. See here, I'm thinking about the mid wave, but I see a fight happening. And I want to join the fight. Yes, I'm strong. I can get kills. Why not? That's the mindset I have right now. Usually, yes, you want to get every wave, but, you know, knowing when to skip waves is one of the hardest things I had to learn. Because most of the time, like 95% of the time, you get a wave, and it's perfect. But you can do that always. And those little differences, if you play like the highest level, do make a difference.
Yeah, knowing when to skip that 1 or 2 mid waves to like win the fight.
Yeah. All right. Let's see what happens here. Yeah, so here you see like Caitlyn, right? She's over there. But I don't want to get close because I need to wait for my teammates. I don't want to step up by myself. Right? Especially I don't have flash. Imagine TF could ult on me if I farm that wave. Not great. And then I get the mid wave again. Let's go with teammates. There's the game flow. There's the plan. And sometimes you deviate from it when you skip a wave. But overall, the rules don't lie. They are rules for a reason because they work. And here I messed up my chompers a little bit, but hey, I placed them at least, right? And honestly, Jinx, what makes her really fun as well is that she really wants to be with the team. Like she shines in team fights and skirmishes constantly. And you just get the passive and you can go crazy. And not many champions can do what Jinx can do in team fights. Like what champion can deal like the entire DPS of the fight? Not really, not a lot, right?
Yeah, and that all just comes down to the reset and playing that team fight. I mean, if you have more people around you, more likely someone's going to die, right? So it's going to get that passive, and then I'm going to have all that DPS, as you said, to just win every fight.
Yeah. Unfortunately, when it comes to reset champions in League, like Jinx, Viego, and maybe even Ari ultimate resets after you get a kill, a lot of people don't respect it. Aatrox, they don't respect it, A lot of people, when they're like low HP, they don't really look to get away because of the Jinx reset, right? They might try to, maybe I kill this guy if I hit him a bit more, instead of trying to back off instantly. And even at this level, like, not everyone respects it. And a lot of people are going in to like go in or go home. Right? They don't do in between, in and out, to prevent you from getting passive. But when it happens, it's very annoying.
So yeah, the enemy's perspective is that a lot of people you find don't even think about your Jinx passive. Like, wait, why is this guy dying? Like, he could just make it hard to not die, and I wouldn't get the passive. He's making the game so easy. That's what you find. Even challenger players, they think about. They don't even think about your Jinx passive.
Yeah, like here, this Strander, for example, right? He could have run away quicker, right? He tried to go in constantly, even though he noticed he couldn't kill us, and now he baited his team into joining this fight, and we just win it, right? Whereas Strander here in this fight could have been like, wait, Jinx is hitting me for free. Yeah, maybe I should back off. Drake is alive. Maybe I shouldn't fight now, But he messed up, right? And because he messed up, we just make use of that, You don't make mistakes and make mistakes eventually. And now in this moment, right, you see I'm just waiting and thinking. Drake is up, but Randall is here. I'm looking at the map, seeing what to do, and guess what? Hey, there's a mid wave. Let's do this. This is safe. This is guaranteed. Starting Drake when Randall is up, probably not the smartest idea.
I feel like everyone would start Drake there, Tony. Again, this is your discipline, you know, you're sort of just not giving the enemy any opportunities.
Yeah, because if you start Drake, they could steal it. But if you take mid-wave, take turret, wait for your team to be on Drake. Like here, I'm not even starting it. I'm just waiting. I see another mid-wave. Maybe I'm thinking it right. I'm pinging it, letting my teammates know what my intent is. Right, asking for assistance. And look, Olaf wanted to go towards Drake. Now he went up a little bit and like he didn't rush to it, right? They see me mid. They're just waiting around a little bit for me as well. So pinging your teammates, your intent is also very, very, very important.
Yeah, I think it's really important here. A lot of people, Tony, would not think about this wave at all. You're like pinging, I wants to push forward. I find this is a massive struggle. People don't think about the next wave. They see team on Dragon, I go hit Dragon. But you're really saying, I don't want to give them any team push. I have Baron. Dragon is already ours. We're already fed. It's fine. We're already ahead. As long as we don't give them mid push, they don't have any options.
Right, because
really important.
While you do Drake, Caitlyn could push and
Yes.
could keep pushing. If a fight starts, if a fight happens on Drake, they could maybe take your mid in him now. But if you push mid now, look, I push mid, TF and Caitlyn are mid lane. I did that. I made them not be here.
That's impact. That's ADC map impact mid game. People say AD carries can't impact the game. That is insane impact by just hitting that mid wave.
That's crazy. You're just manipulating people, enemies, where they need to be. You're just
controlling where
them
they
on
go.
The spot.
It's like they're like puppets. You're sort of like making, playing with them.
Right? It's like, let's say you play poker, right? And you raise or like you bet. It's like, now what? You have to fold or call or do something compared to you do nothing and let the enemies decide. You want to put enemies on the spot. Do you get mid wave now or do you go Drake? You have to choose. You can't get both. And about jungle camps, by the way, I usually don't really take jungle camps most of the time, unless there's moments like this.
ADCs are taking my Wolves and Raptors all the time, Tony. What are you talking about? Why not?
Yeah, so most of the time, you got to think about experience in League of Legends. If you have a jungle item, if you get a camp, you get more XP than an ADC that doesn't have a jungle item. So if you steal, let's say, red buff from your jungler, yeah, jungler gets the buff as well because there's the buff sharing, but you as a team lost experience. That's not great. It's not good at all. So in League, like no matter what you play, it's not really Jinx or ADC related. You just got to think about everything from a team's perspective. You are playing as a team. You can't win without a team, no matter how good you are. Even Faker lost in Emerald, right? So yeah, you got to play with your team. You got to be nice to your teammates. You know?
Clean.
I think we can talk about this sequence a little bit, right?
Okay, let's go back.
So here I'm thinking about what to do. I push mid wave, and while I'm pushing this, right, I'm thinking, okay, my Olaf is top, my Rengar is doing blue buff, cool, but I see TF and Sion bot. So I know that if I push mid here, there could only be like 3 people, you know? One of each, Caitlyn is top now, so there could be only Milio and Trundle here. And a 2v2 where I'm this ahead, I for sure win. And it's basically exactly what happened, right?
And this is again where you ping. You're really big on pings, it seems, Tony. Like in the big game, you take control of the game. You say, okay, the moment they're there, let's ping, let's go forward. You know, like you're not. I see a lot of ADCs. They're waiting for their support of their jungler to do something. You're the one saying, "Come, help me. I'm gonna go hit tower. I'm gonna walk forward."
Yeah, you gotta make sure like you trust yourself. You look at the map, assess the situation, think about what you want to do, and just do it. And ping, ask for help. Let's make it happen. If it doesn't work, you messed up. Hey, you can learn from it. It's not a big deal. Making mistakes is part of the experience. And this point is when Jinx becomes very fun. It's just
your rocket range is insane. It's insane. How do you hit you?
They can't do anything to you. And this is what makes Jinx late game so much fun. This is why I never get bored of her. You're just constantly in and out, hitting them. They can't do anything about it. If you play around your max range properly, like not even TF can do anything. He's got gold card, doesn't matter, right? Trundle is trying to do anything. He can't, right? He cannot do anything. See here, I'm placing chompers to split the enemies. I split TF and Sion away, so I can focus on the melee, for example. Right? Sion ults, I back off. Right? And see, I hit TF and I walk back instinctively. That's something also you gotta do on Jinx. You hit somebody, you walk back, thinking they're gonna like goal card you or do something to you. You gotta anticipate all the skill shots. And if you just hit, go back a bit, go back a bit, like you're kind of untouchable. And they're struggling to even do much to it. Because here, for example, right, I bought full attack damage, full offensive, I have no defensive items, and I end the game with full HP, right? Because like if you just play it right, focus on your range, you're never really gonna die in fights. Like it's not really possible.
Okay, I think that this is just beautiful gameplay, Tony. Like ADC really and Jinx, it's a real beautiful role in a way, like of just how structured you play and yeah, it's like it looks like an art form, you know, to play in Jinx in a way. It's very clean. Like I just feel like I'm watching clean gameplay. Like when I watch like top laners and like mid laners, like I mean, not to say they're playing bad or whatever, but their games just looks way more messy and like you know, like this is just very clean, you know, gameplay.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about it, it makes sense, right? When you play this, you want to avoid danger, you want to avoid messy situations. Like a top laner, I'm just going to push here, get 3 enemies on me, I did my job, let's go, right? It's just a way different role, way different experience altogether. And also, right, you can only do this, though, if you have the patience in the early game, because nothing would have happened this game if I just gave Caitlyn like 3-4 kills. Then yeah, we would have lost Drakes and Atakan fight, and the game would have been completely different if I died in the early game.
Great stuff. All right, Tony, let's move on to the tier list section now.
All right.
Okay, so Tony, what we're going to do here is create a tier list about what are supports you love to see lock in your on your team. You say that what you like to do in draft is you like to first pick Jinx because you're going to play Jinx anyway to help your teammates get better matchups. I assume a big part of that is support matchup is going to have, you know, maybe a bit better matchup when they see a Jinx on their team. What are we thinking about here? So I guess we'll go through the list like, you know, left to right here. Right. So a Mumu support. We don't really see that much. Where
right. So first of all, let's talk about like in general, right?
Yeah,
with Jinx, right? In Jinx, I first pick because like my support can now counter pick. It's gonna be nicer to play the lane, but not always, right? Maybe they mess up the draft or whatever, their OTP themselves. But that's okay because Jinx can work with basically every support, right? You can just follow up engages with your Chompers W ultimate. You can play aggressive because you have the range if you have Zyra, let's say, or you could just chill scale if you have an enchanter. So every support has its like beauty in a way, right? I don't mind any support. If they take Shaco support, it's fine, you know, it's fine. It's probably not the best, but you can make it work. And this comes down to like adapting to what the support wants as well.
I see. So you really don't care too much about the support. I mean, we'll still try and like, you know, create like an S and A and B tier, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in general, you're really not too stressed about you can make anything work. You're comfortable.
Yeah, but I have my preferences for sure because
okay, all right.
Yeah, I have a fun curse. We're gonna get to it when the champion shows. But yeah, so with Amumu, right? Amumu engages, Amumu CCs. I like having him. I would say A tier. Right. The only problem would be when, you know, he's getting outranged, but that goes with any melee support, really, right? So he's a solid A tier. He can do engages, he can roam. It's good. Very nice.
What do you think about Braum?
Braum is S tier. Like, I think he's my favorite one. Like, he can engage, he can defend, he can protect, he can CC, he can do like everything. Only thing he can do, right, he could get bullied a little bit by the enemies if they're ranged. But guess what? Braum can block the damage as well. So it's not even that bad. So Braum, solid. And I get rewarded for basic attacking. He applies passive, I attack, I get rewarded. It feels fun. It's so nice.
So you don't care playing with a Braum like against an Ezreal Nami or something?
No, you can make it work and chill for a little bit. When our jungler comes to gank, hey, we have Braum, we have setup. He lands a Q, flash basic attack, whatever. That's it. We get a stun, they're dead. Cool, let's go.
Zyra
is a support that makes you play very aggressive because she's also aggressive. And she doesn't have any like defensive capabilities. I would put her in B, top of B, right? She's okay to have. You can make her work, but it's like very like one-dimensional. She can only like go aggressive, and because she has plants, those plants can make, you know, the wave perma push, which maybe you don't want if your jungle is topside. Maybe you don't want a perma push, but it's a bit hard to control that when you have Zyra.
Morgana, not really a popular support these days.
Yeah, we don't see Morgana a lot. Honestly, if you pick her in a nice matchup like against the Thresh, solid A tier. Like, she does the job whenever you pick her. in a good matchup. Very solid. That Black Shield is more than enough to make her worth it, and very, very solid. She could also deal damage, CC. Yeah, it's pretty good.
So you put it in A tier, but more so if it's a counter pick.
Yeah, only for a counter pick. In general, I mean, if you talk about general, maybe B, right? Because if you pick her when the enemies have no CC, you might struggle, right? You might struggle.
Yeah.
She's not going to do that much.
All right, we'll put her in B then in general. So A if counter pick, B in general.
Yeah, that sounds
Blitzcrank.
right. Blitzcrank. This guy is very 50-50 in a way. Like, if he lands hooks, amazing. If he doesn't, well, you are just waiting 30 seconds for the cooldown, I guess. So I would put him in B. I don't really enjoy him that much, but when the hooks land, the hook lands. Like, you get a kill. It's good. But it's just too reliant on it.
Jinx Sona.
Sona, I'd say C tier because of the early game. Right? So Jinx usually wants a support that can do some work in the early game. Support that can just pull some of the weight. But Sona in early game can do much. She's also scaling. And besides that, it's not like Sona has giga shields. It's not like she has any of these like super nice utility abilities. She can like slow people a little bit, give you a bit of HP, maybe poke a little, but it's kind of it, right? Late game, yeah, she scales really well, but no, don't talk about late game here. Talk about the laning phase.
Lulu.
Nah, Lulu is S tier. Lulu is, right, she can actually support you. She has shield, gives you attack speed, can polymorph enemies, can ult to give you HP, knock up enemies. And on top of it, she deals damage, believe it or not. If she goes electrocute, basic EQ on somebody, that's a lot of damage. It's underrated. Lulu is OP. She got nerfed like 4 or 5 patches in a row now. She's just that good. Amazing. She's also range. She can poke with you. Does everything Jinx wants.
Rao.
Rel is basically similar to Blitz. It's like she could get engaged, but if she doesn't, she's just standing there, right? So very similar to that.
Thresh would be the same?
Thresh is different. Thresh is at least
lantern.
A tier. He's got lantern.
Because of Lantern, yes.
It's crazy. You get
Jinx Thresh is
ganked, you
famous.
run in the alcove, he runs towards turret. You're out. They can't do anything. They can't catch you. It's amazing. It's very nice.
Pike. Doesn't have much peel for you, right?
Pike could be very similar to B tier, but I feel like his roams are very, very solid. And even though he's not, in laning phase is nice, he engages and all that good stuff. But, like because he roams, you could put it, let's say, top of B, because I know he's going to win other lanes as well. So I can just chill.
So you don't care about getting dove and just getting left and, you're just going to sack waves. I'm surprised, like even like Bard and, Pike, like these guys are just going to let you rot. I thought you want to be in lane getting farm and scaling, Tony.
No, but it's like if I drop a wave and my teammates get a kill mid lane, I think that's worth it, right? Overall. So Bard, put him in B as well. Like Bard, cool. If Bard, we just do what he wants to do and just adapt to where he is and we can make it work. It's all good.
Brand,
similar to Zyra, basically just solid damage, but
support.
Solid damage. He's gonna push the wave. Cool, right? Galio don't see that much. Galio.
Yeah, we won't do Galio. Gragas, is Gragas support a thing?
Yeah, I see Galio support. I would say is like B, like a B. Like he can engage, he can do things, but that's kind of it. Maokai very similar. B tier. He's okay, right? He does the job. Pantheon is very similar to that as well. Just solid. He can CC. He's got damage as well. Soraka is a bit hard to say. Like, yes, she takes time to scale and everything, but she can actually keep you up in lane. Like B tier, if not A tier, I would say, because you can trade in lanes you might not be able to trade. If they have Caitlyn, you probably don't want to trade usually, but if you have Soraka and you take an even trade and she heals you once, you want the trade. She just allows you to make mistakes in trading, and that's just great. Like, it's so nice. It's nice to have Soraka. I like her. 80, I really like her.
It sounds like a bit more like Karma because he's a strong laners.
Yeah, Karma, A tier for sure. Karma slaps. Karma slaps. Oh my god, she really does. She does more damage than I do. It's wild. It's crazy.
Janna,
very similar to Sona. Like in lane, I'm not excited ever to have her. She's there. We scale. They have Rengar late game. Cool. Yeah. Right. All right. C tier. Let's go. Right.
Lux is a very lower elo popular support champ.
I don't see her often, but when I do, I'm like, okay, B tier. I can have Lux. She can CC, she can deal damage. Okay. Rakan, I would say A tier because he can just engage, he can roam, he can like shield you, protect you as well. He's very, very solid. It's always nice to have Rakan. Those engages are also very reliable. Milio. All right, this is going to be a bit controversial, but a lot of people say like Jinx Milio is like the combo. It's insane, super high range, it's crazy, but they never think about the early game. You have 2 late game champions in the lane that are immobile. Like 50% of my games I think are Milios, and we always target in the early game. So I would say like between B or C, like I'm never excited to have Milio, right?
Wow.
Like if I were playing in like lower elo where you get to scale, enemies don't really punish you, that's okay. But when you have Milio, even put it in C tier, legit. Like
it's just going to C. It's just
like,
there you go.
It's just you have Milio Jinx, your teammates look at you. How can I even gank them? I gank, they can't engage, they can't CC, they're probably struggling, they're low HP because they're getting bullied. It's just so awkward. They're all good late game together, but early game you just struggle.
Senna Jinx.
Senna is not that great. She doesn't really do much. I would say like C tier. Like she doesn't even have great damage. She can't repeal really well. She does CCs is very unreliable. She's kind of like right now she's an ADC, I think, even. Like they're making her ADC now. It's crazy. She's not that good. Seraphine, I would say because she does have very nice CC and big shields, solid B tier. Like great enchanter that could engage, can do a bit of everything. Very solid.
Set, don't really see much of.
Set is just a casual B tier. He can engage, this damage. Like Pantheon, let's say. Okay, cool. Nami. Now
Jinx Nami?
Nami is actually quite interesting because she can heal you like Soraka. She can buff you, give you speed, has a lot of CC. I really enjoy playing with Nami. She can enable to do many, many things. She also does damage. It's actually great. It's nice to have her. She's not even weak early game. She can do a lot early game with trades.
So
A tier.
A tier?
A tier for sure. Leona, she goes in or does nothing. So like B tier. Just
cool. We're seeing a common trend with that. If they go in and then stuff up, then yeah.
Yeah. Taric though, on the other hand, like Taric, like he's very nice to have. Not as nice as Braum, but A tier for sure because he can engage, he can keep you safe, he can deal damage, he can heal you a lot. It's crazy how much he can heal with the abilities. And he's got that ultimate, which is insane. He's very, very solid. I like having Taric.
Some people say Shaco supports like OP at the moment.
So Shaco support is good, is strong, but you really need to know how to adapt and how to play around his boxes. So when you pick Shaco support, let's say, you're kind of like relying on ADC to know how to play with Shaco, you know? I would say I'm okay. I'm not too excited to have it, but I'm not sad. Like a solid B tier, yeah, I like Shaco. He's good. Okay. But making work takes a bit of work. Renata is actually like very similar to Karma. She can be aggressive. She can deal damage. She can trade. And she can also like revive you. And that's what you want. You get passive after you're revived and you just pop off after that. It's actually great combo. Renata Jinx is very fun.
Shen
support. I would say B tier, like very similar to others. Yeah, he's got the ultimate, but it's like, what would I rather have? Ultimate shield or ultimate with, like, say, like set damage? It's kind of the same thing. It's like B tier, yeah.
I would actually just pick it on Nautilus. I've played a lot of Nautilus support, so like this has sort of been my secondary off role. Like I've played a lot of Nautilus, and I personally, I'm going to just see what you say, but I don't really like playing with Jinx for some reason with Nautilus.
Yeah, Nautilus is just very solid engage, right? If you want an engage, you can do it, right? I would put him in B tier, solid, right? I'm happy to have him. Let's go, but it's not like trash. He doesn't have a lantern or a way to peel you, really. He can just
exactly. I feel like I can't peel Jinx. It's
you can
it doesn't feel good. Like the R is like unreliable. Like
even if you ult,
sure you can
right? It takes too long. Jinx is dead.
It takes too long. Right?
Exactly right. You can't ult a Rengar like you can flay a Rengar with trash.
I feel like I can't amplify a Jinx as Nautilus, you know, and like
Exactly.
lane phase, like I will go in and like Jinx, you know, wants to play like say it feels like it's sort of like anti-synergy in a way. I guess it's sort of like why you're putting a lot of the beads here as like the engaged supports. It's just something feels awkward about them because they're engaging, they're not peeling you, I guess.
And so many times I ulted and Nautilus hooks and my ult misses. I hate it sometimes.
Yeah.
Right,
Alistair must
Alistar
go. Oh, he could peel a bit better though.
can peel a
Thanks,
bit
Alistair.
better, but I feel like in very, very early, like level 1, level 2, you can never really get level 2 advantage with him. He just can't do anything level 1. He doesn't have a hook, and just because of it, I would put him B tier. He can peel really well, very nice, but in laning phase early game, he doesn't really have much. That he can't do much. He's just waiting, you know.
Velcro
Vel'Koz,
support.
B tier, like a Zyra, just damage, cool, let's go. Mage, we play aggressive. Vex support, I've never seen that.
Yeah, never seen that. Zero
Seraph,
support is
very
a thing.
similar to Vel'Koz, just poke damage. We can do that. We can play aggressive. Let's go.
The famous Yumi.
Yumi, the cat.
D tier.
I mean, I would say it's more similar to Milio, so like C tier, because a good Yumi would at least like unmount to block a skill shot for you, and that's cool. And then she buffs you just as well as Milio, basically. So yeah, C tier, solid, cool. Zilean is actually, you don't see him often, but when you see him, enemies are so annoyed. Enemies are slowed, you revive. If they have assassins, they're mad. I would put him in A tier because he can actually revive. He can speed you up. When you get a reset, your passive, you're flying. It's crazy, right?
Lots of move speed.
Exactly. Right? The only reason I'm not putting him in S because he's quite fragile, you know? They could one-shot him and then, yeah, like Lul or Braum that are solid, you know? They don't die as easily.
Tom Kench, don't really say that much.
Package is actually very fun to have. I would put him A tier because he can actually get you out of very, very, very annoying situation, like similar to a Trash Lantern, but a bit better. Like that ultimate can just eat you and just you're out. They jump on you, you're out. It's actually insane what he can do. I really like playing with him. And in laning phase, he's got the Q. That's also a ranged ability. It's not like Alistar is sitting there. He can actually do things.
You actually do things. Okay, the rest of these supports are not really supports. Are there any other ones you want to mention? Maybe Fiddlesticks, maybe? You see some Ashe support. Ashe support used to be in the meta a little bit. Any other mentions?
I want to talk about Fiddle. Fiddle is kind of cool, kind of like B tier, like Shaco, kind of niche. You can make him work if you play with him, play with his ultimates, try to bait the enemies into you, just get kills for free. It's fun. And then Ashe support, D tier, please. All right,
just you have a personal grudge against Ashe.
Nah, like when the Ashe support meta was a thing, I'm like, bro, why do you want to take two ADCs? ADC is not even that strong. Now you want to take two ADCs. What are you doing? Especially with an ADC like Jinx that scales. Ashe doesn't provide anything. It's just make everything worse.
Hawaii is more of like Hawaii support. Is that still
I've never seen him. I've never seen him, honestly. Poppy, though, on the other hand, and Silas, B tier, both of them. Solid, can engage, damage, very cool. Camille as well, B tier, she can do some of great things as well. And the rest, I don't think I've seen. Not even Twitch. I don't see him. No, not really. That's about it, right? Would I modify anything? Maybe a Momo from A to B, I think.
Yeah, I feel like this makes more sense. Yeah, I feel like this is Nautilus and Mumu. It's like they feel the same to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then you have like Braum, Lulu, my favorites. So cool. They have like Thresh, Soraka, Karma. They can do peels. They don't die instantly. They can do many, many more things, which is very, very nice to see that. And then the B tiers is like most supports, you know, just play that. I'm okay, let's go. Right. And if you pick C or D tier, I guess we just scale, you know, or if enemies make mistakes, cool, we could win. But most of the time, if enemies play something aggressive, they know what they're doing, at least somewhat, you're going to struggle because you can't do much early game. And if you do nothing early game, they end the game by the time you finish scaling in a very high loot game.
You just don't have control.
Yeah.
So tick for these, X for these.
Basically, that's it. Right? So I like supports. That's the conclusion. I like playing by support. If you can pick whatever you want, supports. It's fine. Yeah, you know, it's good. We can be friends. I can tolerate you at least for 30 minutes, even if you pick Milio.
All right, Tony, so now we're going to get your challenger perspective. We've learned a lot over the course of this video so far. Let's now apply what we've learned to an Emerald Jinx main.
All right.
Okay, Tony, this is our Plat 1 was Emerald, top tier, so, still Challenger versus Emerald. Jinx, not a main, actually learning Jinx. Looks like I would say it's a bit of both. Looks like a duo champion pool here of Misfortune and Jinx, but currently been playing a lot of Jinx recently on the EUS server here. So, let's do a quick OPGG review here, Tony. What are you seeing here when we look at build? Let's look at maybe this recent game here. Coup de grace. What's going on here?
Coup de grace.
And scaling health.
Scaling health. So yeah, cut down definitely better than coup de grace because cut down deals more damage. It's mathematically the correct rule. Enemies are more likely to be full HP than low HP. And then scaling health doesn't matter as much because late game you kind of explode. But early game it could save you many times. Like go flat health for sure. And then looking at the build, it looks solid, but we like to see like Lord Dominic's third instead of Runaan because everybody in the game has so much armor now. Everybody has a ton of like a flat armor just by leveling up. I feel like LDR third is probably better. Not the end of the world though. It's a decent build for sure.
Yeah, there's just so many. Like what we saw with Lolalytics in the build section. There's just so many Rune and Hurricanes enthusiasts.
I mean,
love this item on Jinx.
Like it's fun.
They love it on Jinx.
It's so cool to have, but yeah, unfortunately the numbers don't lie.
Yeah, you're just saying build Lord Dom's Jinx community. Build Lord Dom's third. Don't build it fourth.
Oh well, maybe they'll learn one day, right? We'll see.
I love it. Okay, let's dive straight into their gameplay now. Let's get into the details, Tony.
All right, let's get to it.
Okay, so team comp wise, level 1. What are you thinking here for this Jinx?
So first of all, we have Blitzcrank, right? Blitzcrank screams invades. Looks like that's what we're doing. I don't know who pinged. I think it was Blitzcrank. Yeah? So Jinx here is just following the call. Let's go to something level 1, which I'm glad to see because Jinx level 1, underrated. Now, looks like we do get some action here. And in the meantime, we could talk about the matchup, which, as you can see, it's Ezreal and Senna. So usually matchups are really determined by who has the higher range. Like if you have the higher range, a lot of times you can be a bully. You can just poke the Blitzcrank, for example, from behind the minion wave. I'm curious to see if enemies will even try that. But most of the time, though, it's kind of hard to pull off. So people kind of default to like maybe chilling. They don't want to get hooked. And then if they get hooked, I wonder how these Jinx will react. How will Jinx react to when a Blitzcrank hooks? Because people don't really do this. They don't really think, okay, hook lands, what am I supposed to do? They don't think about placing choppers instantly, W instantly. We will see if they do this or not. And also, I don't like how they were staying under turret and they were not really looking at the jungle entrances or anything. You really want to do something before minions spawn. Because otherwise, right, you're just letting your teammates play without you. What if Briar gets invaded? You didn't prevent that. And it's good to just be cautious about that.
So where would you stand? So you mentioned you like to stand here, but but there was an invade here, so I guess there wasn't much to do for standing. But what would you do?
You could still stay like next to Seraph or try to ping. Because why not? In case they maybe try to ward or something, or you could just ping Blitzcrank to go together with you in the tri-bush. That could be also good. I see. I could go together there, right?
You just want to get some information. You just don't want to sit on your tower. You really emphasize getting information level 1.
Yeah, it could cost your junglers tilting or not. It's that crazy. All right, so let's see how he's doing. Looks like he does want to play for level 2. And he does respect the Senna going forward. So far, it's okay, right? But as I mentioned, it's kind of hard for Blitz to do much. They play around the minion wave really well. So the Blitz can't really do that much. And the main thing I wonder is, let's see if these Jinx players, when he's being pushed back a lot, will try to keep his HP high or not, which is going to be interesting to see. So first of all, enemies got level 2 faster. They didn't really pressure Jinx much. And this is why I mentioned that Jinx is always like good below master and she's your ticket to master. People will not punish you as much early game. So you can get away with a lot of things. And also,
so you're saying Ezreal and Senna should be going way more aggressive here. They should be looking to do more damage and be...
Yeah, they basically, if you rewind a little bit, they allowed Jinx to also get level 2 here. Right? Here they should be walking up like crazy. They should not allow Jinx to hit these minions at all. And even then, when they got level 2, they still didn't punish. And now Jinx is able to hit the wave and hit both of them, which is massive value when that happens.
Okay. So you don't mind hitting minions with rockets if you can hit like multiple people? Because you know how you said that you want the wave to come into us? You like that, okay.
Yeah, usually you want the wave into you because you have Blitz, right? So here, hitting this wave here now kind of makes no sense. You know, you just want to let it come towards you a little bit so Blitz can actually play the game a bit better so they can't really zone you off either, right?
And this is what you said, Tony, when you said you're coaching people, is that you see people see minions and they just autopilot hit the minions. They're not thinking about the wave at all or come into them or whatever.
Exactly. Enabling your support is a big part of playing bot lane. As you see now, Blitz just got hit twice, you know, because he can do much, unfortunately.
Would you say this is a random W? This is not a good W?
This one, yeah. This W serves no purpose. Like Ezra can easily dodge it to the left, to the right. There's no reason to do that. Especially because there's half mana. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Half mana already. Like, what are you going to do when they eventually maybe push under turret? You can't use rockets or W to farm. It's going to be a struggle.
So it's interesting, Tony. Everything you've said in this video so far is happening right now in real time, right? They're making all the mistakes that you said to not do.
Basically, that's what's happening, yes. And the only reason I would say, like, you could push, if you look on the minimap, right? Your Briar is making plays, you know? You could maybe try to push, get Prio invade with your jungler. It's something you could maybe try to do, right? But it's maybe a bit harder to spot as well. It's hard to keep track of everything, especially in a lane where they bull you a lot. But yeah, this lane so far is going kind of as expected. They are going to push into you. Blitzcrank is low HP. He takes another Q from Ezreal. He's not going to be able to do much. So at this point, the lane is kind of over almost. Unless Blitzcrank is godlike and he lands a hook under turret somehow, right? It might happen. That was a nice W though. But
so is it good to make sure that the minion wave doesn't go under the tower? Like make sure it's staying out there and just sort of chunking minions a little bit, like sort of matching their auto attacks, or do you really just let it go under your tower most of the time?
It really depends on the level of aggression you get from the enemies. It's something you need to adapt. Here, they're really allowing us to do whatever. Really.
Just thin the wave.
So we can thin the wave out a little bit. Keeping it around here, it's good, right? Blitzcrank could look for some hook angles now. And if it crashes, it's not the end of the world, right? But if it's here, now look, they're backing off. You see how afraid they are now? Look at that body language from Blitz. He was walking forward and he's walking backwards. And almost landed the hook. That would have been huge. Just because the wave was here. But now imagine we tried that earlier, you know, before Blitz lost all that HP. That's the thing. The sooner you do what you're supposed to do, is the sooner you enable your support, the sooner, smaller the chance that you get in trouble or you're support loses the HP and who knows what else could happen. But also here we're definitely seeing a lot of autopilot. We are hitting the wave a lot. Now we are actually pushing. When, right, we get a nice engage and everything cool. But what about the enemy jungler? You know, your jungler is top side, the enemy jungler could be bot. You don't know that. So trying to push in a position like this, even though you have vision, might be a bit risky. Right?
I see.
And also if you're pushing like this, who was top? No, Lydia was top. Okay. Like if you have information, right? In a real game, you just try to look in the map and do what you can with your information. If you see Lydia top, you could maybe play aggressive. But even then here, right? We played on their side. They were able to run us down a little bit. So again, like Blitz can't really do that much if you push this much forward, unfortunately.
Was this bad chompers usage, by the way, here? Like, should we have hit the chompers? Like,
let's see. I didn't pay attention there. So
should it be chompers first into W? Or is the chompers not going to hit? That's a good W.
Chompers have to go down first because now look, right? So here, that's the cool part about Jinx. Like wave management aside and everything, like that's harder to grasp and know exactly what to do. But when Blitz goes in, no matter what elo you are, Blitz is going to land, the hook is going to go in eventually. And you just need to know how to adapt and to follow up, basically. And here, we don't use chompers instantly. Chompers should be number one priority. If you use chompers here, Senna is 100% dead. Because you could just flash after.
Flash and barrier, yeah, I see.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and then you could kill, and then you kill Ezreal, and then you push the wave because now you know Lila is top. And suddenly, you're ahead. You have probably BF sword, but now instead, you have an awkward situation where you actually don't know what to do. You're just chilling. You don't know what you're supposed to do now because they're so low.
Yeah. Yep. We're farming quite well, though. 43 farm. Doing pretty good the last hit in.
Yeah, that's pretty good, honestly. But while CSing is important, right? You can't like only rely on it, right? You can't rely on CSing. You gotta like be able to control the wave to enable your support, and also play with your support. Be ready to engage. Be ready to follow up, no matter what, which we didn't see, unfortunately.
BF sword, really good. You like this? This
Yeah.
is a really good, your best start to a base, right?
Just bot, you can afford BFs for bite. Don't think twice. You can even bite 2 if you want. Maybe not really, right? But it's just.
I don't think it was
good.
4 in 2. Yeah.
It's good. All right. So here he decides to go help. That was nice. Very good.
Pretty good.
But then
he had nothing to do bot, right?
Okay. And now I wonder here. He helps with Drake. Okay. Instead of going bot, right? We could talk about this a little bit. So if you rewind a little bit, right? Because you just want to look at this whole sequence. We go here. Okay, Lila is too low, very low HP. Azir is dead, right? So the only 2 people that could be here are like Senna and Ezreal. And you already see Ezreal. And Senna, I lost track of her, even if she's here, right?
She must have died. Yeah, she must have died.
Sometimes you have to make a decision, do they need me on Drake right now? Right? And the answer to that is right now, I would say no. Like you could not help Briar if you wanted to, because it's a free Drake based on the information you have. Because if you help Drake here, you could lose many, many minions. But I would say like if you want to be safe and help your jungle do Drake, that's fine most of the time. It's just something to keep in mind that sometimes you could be losing a lot of resources if you try to do help. Especially, let's say you get a couple kills on bot lane and you want to recall to match enemies. But instead you do Drake. Now you can't recall ever. That's something to consider. Be careful with that because, yeah, we want Drakes and everything, but if you get a Drake and then your lane is a bit over, it's like maybe that Drake wasn't even that worth it now. Especially if it was a 100% Drake. So here, Chompers. Right?
Chompers again. We're not Chomp. This is what you said, Tony. You said you wanted to see if he followed up. They followed up on the Blitzcrank, but we're prioritizing.
Right here, Chompers go down instantly, right?
Yeah.
Instantly.
But they're like Chompers in front of them.
Right? Those didn't really serve that much of a purpose, and she just gets away. Better Chompers.
2 missed kills. We've missed kills already. So many kills.
Maybe even more, right? If you think about everything. But the mechanics side, right? Mechanics side, Chompers side, plays Chompers better on the Blitzcrank. You get 2 kills already for free. It's actually wild.
And that's about anticipating the Blitzcrank hook in the CC. Like it looks like they're reactionary. They're like, oh, Blitzcrank's hooked. Oh, what do I do? I'm going to press Chompers in front of them. Versus I'm literally, my fingers on E, ready to press Chompers the moment Blitzcrank hooks. It's anticipation.
And this is why, like in loading screen, I see a lot of people like that, and like on TikTok, YouTube shorts, whatever, loading screen.
Changing their Spotify playlist.
Yeah, instead you should look in loading screen. Okay, I blitz. They have 2 squishes. Okay, if the hook lands, what do I do? Chompers instantly. Okay, it happens. I'm doing it. Your mind should be thinking about this stuff in loading screen always. Because, you say like, oh, but I play a lot of games every day, so it's too much thinking. Well, you could maybe reduce the amount of games you play. Instead of playing like 10 games a day, let's say, play 7 of them that are more solid, right? And you maybe take a 5-minute break between games. That also could help you as well. All right, so now let's talk about this situation here, where, as you can see, the biggest mistake here, we are autopiloting, pushing the wave again. If you push the wave here now, right, what can Blitzcrank really do? We push the wave, okay, maybe a hook lands, right? In this case, sure, Blitz died though, and now Jinx is a bit in trouble. So it's, even though we got a kill, you see, it's actually not great. Because now...
lose the whole wave.
You might lose the wave, they could dive, who knows, right? So instead of hitting the wave here, right, especially if you look at the map, if you want to take anything from this game, is if your jungle is top, try to play more chill.
That's just last hitting. You're just last hitting with minigun.
Just last hit, don't push waves. Because you never know, right? And on top of it, you have melee support. You don't want to push as much. because that's just going to make it awkward. Even if you get a kill, they might run you down after. It's not great.
And that's because it's very hard for Blitzcrank to hit hooks under towers because there's minions that they can think. But Blitzcrank can chase people down the lane, so you want the lane to be in a neutral or towards your tower state. Is that why?
Exactly, right? He could just go towards them, have all the time in the world to chase and land that hook. Compared to here, we only land the hook because like Senna made a big mistake, right? But we can't rely on that, the fact that they're going to make mistakes non-stop. But the cool part about this example is that even though we got the kill, it's still not a good situation for us. And that's just wild how much like wave management could do to you. But setting up like simple rules like this, my jungle is top, I'm not going to hit the wave non-stop. It's simple to follow, and you can do it non-stop in every game. You already have a base. And from there, you can just develop new skills and new concepts and everything. So like getting a good consistent and nice habits in League is very straightforward. And this is why like I really liked learning the game myself. It was really, really fun to do this. Just learn about the different habits I can do. And then when you watch like a high-elo player, how they play, you're like, oh, he didn't push the wave here. Why? Well, his jungler stop. Makes sense. And you can see yourself in his shoes. You can do things that high-elo players can also do, which was very, very satisfying. Yeah, and we keep pushing the waves non-stop, right? So now look again, Blitzcrank is very low, unfortunately. And now we trade our HP away, right?
This is what you don't like. You're low HP. This is where you don't win games as Jinx, basically.
Exactly, right? Because
like you're low.
Right now we are both low HP. Drake is up. Imagine we do a 3v3 or 4v4 fight skirmish now, or we get ganked, even worse. Now it's like we can't do anything. We're too low. We don't have any chance at winning this.
So it looks like they're really comfortable to trade their HP. And a lot of it comes down to, again, poor wave manager and all that, but we're just like not valuing our HP bar. That's your mindset.
That's very, very, very important on Jinx, especially. And especially in lanes where you don't have sustain. Like they're just going to take you down little by little and eventually you're just going to die. You're not going to be able to CS. So the way you want to look at things is like, if I get hit by a skill shot, if I take this minion, I don't take this minion. And when you think about it, you do this 10 times, now you're full HP, not almost dead, and you get a whole extra wave because of it, instead of just recalling because you're too low after getting hit for so many minions. So you're just trading a bit of gold now to get more gold later, in a way. And also you're opening yourself up to opportunities, because if you're full HP, you can do things. If you're low, you're kind of stuck on the turret farming, basically. So I think not enough players put a lot of effort in the laning phase, because they say like, Jinx, you scale, you get 2 items, you win the game, doesn't matter. Well, I mean, helping yourself in the early game to scale faster, to get those items faster, is going to help you. So it does make sense.
They're missing too many opportunities in the early lane phase. They're not maximizing how much they could be. They could be scaling even faster. It's like what you were saying, that each mid minion wave that I get, I'm scaling 30 seconds quicker.
Exactly.
I guess that's sort of the same. It could be minutes quicker, I guess, if you have a really good early lane phase. I mean, we missed like, what, 3 kills here this early flame phase, right?
Yeah, and exactly. Like every recall you take because you're too low HP, because you didn't preserve HP, you lose a wave. You scale 30 seconds later now. Okay, let's talk about this, because when it comes to tower dives, right, you have a little trick you can do with Jinx, which is very, very interesting to see. So,
wait, quick little one here again. Random W I'm seeing here again, off no CC or
this W doesn't do much, right? Especially when you're about to like dive or do a fight. You don't want to put your abilities on cooldown. Like for example, here you throw, right? Okay, the chompers were there,
chompers,
right? But Ezreal is right. And if you rewind a little bit, right, what you want to do with Jinx, right, don't W. And when you get close to the turret, what you need to do is switch to minigun and hit the turret. Like he's actually doing it here very good. Because that way you get your attack speed stacked on minigun before the dive, right? It's something clever you can do. Right? But here, the main problem is, I don't think he noticed like Rengar was behind hitting Senna, right? Because here his teammates were preoccupied with killing Senna instead of Ezreal, and this is just a very, very awkward dive that just happened. And these moments like this are just going to happen. Nothing to talk about this too much, but just be really mindful of your teammates, right? What they're doing. Because if you see your Rengar is focused on Senna, maybe say, okay, I'm not going to hit Ezreal. I'll try to go towards the Senna or something. I play with my team instead of trying to 1v1 that Ezreal. There are some situations in the league, there's no winning. Right? Like that dive, I would say we're losing anyway because Karen was there, right? All right, so here is interesting that they push and now they move. I really like this. Right? They push and now they do something, right? Because I see a lot of people, they push and they kind of do nothing. They hit turret or whatever. If you push, you want to do something with that push. Here he pushed so he can roam. I think that's a very, very solid choice. That ultimate didn't make much sense. We could have saved it for sure for like the Herald, for example. Because when you see a low HP Herald, you could ult to steal it. It's actually so
steal
good.
it.
You could definitely
it's
steal
way more
it.
valuable.
And also here, the Senna never dies from your ult. She's got too much HP.
She's too much HP.
You can only do, before you're level 11, for like 2 points in your ultimate, you can only do like 450 maximum damage, really. Maybe 500.
She has 610.
Right? You can never do that.
There.
Maximum 500, no more. That's it. So, ulting Garen, that would be huge.
Should have been able to get the Herald there.
Yeah, for sure. Because he did the first step, which is roaming, which was impressive. But then the second step, which is how to execute the roam, was a bit lacking. So let's see. Okay, the chompers again, right?
The chompers again. It's just a pattern. It's a habit, right? We just don't think playing off the chompers off the Blitzcrank knock-up.
Yeah, so if I were to coach this player, I would say, okay, for the next 2 weeks, you just think about how to engage, to follow up with your engage support. Chompers have to connect every time. Chompers have to connect and they have to be priority here, right? He still messed them up, right? Almost did it, but you gotta be consistent with it, right? But it's like, if you mess it up a couple of times, it's okay, right? It happens to me as well, for sure. Especially with Blitz, because he knocks up, so it's kind of awkward sometimes to know where to place them exactly, especially like Nautilus hooks in different places as well, like in the middle of the hook. But, if you do it 8 times correctly and 2 times you don't do correctly, that's fine. But here, we didn't do it correctly.
8
not
times
even once.
Incorrectly, 0 times correctly.
Yeah, it's not great. All right.
So we're going mid out of base. So this is where the AD carries and mid laners have a bit of a fight all the time. Like who goes to side lane, who goes mid. Where are you going here as Jinx?
So here I would say I go mid and share the wave with Seraph. Because this way, right, we're helping each other take this wave, take control of the mid game, the mid lane. And also, we could pressure the turret now together. It's like, okay, nobody's bot right now, but at least we're playing together, which is not bad. So I see a lot of people try to go side lane constantly with ADC.
Side lane Jinx sounds useless. If I'm a jungler and I see his side lane Jinx, I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
First of all, you could get killed, right? But then it's like, you don't have opportunities. If you're a bot, you're kind of bot, you can go anywhere. But if you're mid, you can go
anywhere. So slow.
Yeah,
you're so slow
right?
as well, right? One of the slowest champs.
Yeah, you don't have mobility, you don't have nothing, right? So sharing waves here, it's fine, random fights are going to happen constantly, right? This is what it is. But here, like where he went from base-wise, he did pretty well, honestly, right? Look, together with this Seraph, we were able to kill a couple of them, right? I the Lilia we didn't respect really well. But right, the concept of going mid and sharing some waves, that's fine. It's not that bad. And I see people worrying too much about side lane. It's not your job, really. In a team, you gotta know that I have a job and my teammates also have a job. You just gotta expect that people are gonna do their job. If they don't, okay, then we figure out what to do from there, right? Okay, I wonder what he does here after this mid wave. Look at that rocket, beautiful, right? So as a Jinx player, right, when I see somebody ult with Jinx, I'll just put a smile on my face, right? It's satisfying. And Jinx is really, really cool, unlike other scaling champions, because you can actually just get random kills no other champs can get. You might be 0-0-0, get a random kill, you have a kill for no reason. It's actually crazy. And also here, he decided to push mid instead of going to the Atakan fight, which I think is just great, because that fight is very far away. Your Rengar is
It's
also
all good
dope,
position as well to walk,
right?
right? Like you like walk in here as Jinx, you just get caught and killed a lot of the time,
Exactly,
right?
you could get killed.
So you love this decision.
Right? But if you stay mid and they send people on you, oh, teammates might do Adakan, or
He's
Rengar
hugging.
top.
He's hugging the
He's
top
hugging
side
the
here.
top
This is
side.
beautiful, right?
This is great. Like, I'm actually impressed here. This is very, very, very good macro-wise. And honestly, I mean, you would expect, like in Emerald, for sure, people to start implementing some of these concepts, right? But what I'm noticing in Emerald usually is, let's say you need to learn 10 concepts to be master. An Emerald player, let's say, would know 5 of them, right? He knows how to play macro really well, how to not join that Atakan fight because it doesn't look good. He does that really well. But then he doesn't really understand like the purpose of the chompers and their importance, or not pushing the waves in early game, right? So that's where they're lacking. And
Those are the concepts missing to get to master.
right? And people usually struggle to climb because they don't know what to focus on, right? And also here we could rewind a little bit. This decision to go Drake, right? We have a wave coming mid. So here what we should do is ping our teammates, hey, we shouldn't drop mid lane here, right? Here, the mid wave is coming, right? Next mid wave is coming. You should be pinging your teammates to help. If you do it, I guarantee Blizz will come, Briar, Rengar, they might come to you, help you, and just kick them out. And then you get the Drake for free, right?
This is similar to the situation we saw in your game, Tony, right? Yeah. Very similar to that situation where you decided not to do Drake, go to that mid wave, push them off. There was the Caitlyn and stuff reacted, and then you went to Drake, right? So very similar to the situation because now they get the probably the mid tower, as you said, and they have options. Right. They can run into your top side, take all these camps. Like there's so much that pressure they can put on the map here. But if you push that wave, then they don't have any options. They can't go take your camps or whatever it is. It's going to be very awkward for them to do that.
But for you to be able to do this, you got to make sure you don't do it alone, right? You got to make sure you ping teammates. They need to help you, because if you go there alone 1v3, I mean, right, you're going to die. It's not good for your team. All right, let's see how we fight this. It's the first proper team fight. Okay, we have some nice skill shots here. Very nice ults with W when he's stunned. It's pretty good.
Nice.
Right. Staying in rockets here until we get a bit closer for minigun. So very good switching between Q, like minigun and rockets. I really like that a lot. And he hit Gera with minigun, which was completely safe to do so. So overall, I feel like he knows, like Jinx, right? Which is very, very nice. All right.
I love the very safe recall, by the way. I like this recall.
Yes, I just want to mention.
A lot of people greedy recall.
Yeah, I was doing that a lot, and I got caught before ban so many times, and I learned my lesson, right? So I'm glad to see people recall safe, because recalling is also a skill. It's not just press B, which is overlooked very, very often. So now look at this. This is where, okay, exactly. This is where usually this is the moment where you see a difference between like a good Jinx player and a not so good Jinx player, because you need to set your priorities right. Your job is to get mid wave and then adapt, see what happens, see where you go, see what you do. And if you just go towards a fight right now, when your Xerath is bot, he has no teleport, your Rengar is dead next to Baron. Here you instantly need to know, if I join this, we are outnumbered, we are 3 versus 5. So right now going here is absolutely incorrect. You should never be here. Instead, you should try to go mid. And if you go mid, guess what? You could keep going and blow up the Nexus.
You threaten to end the game. Yeah.
Like, just like in chess. Like, why would you need to take their queen, aka the Baron, when you could just take the king, the Nexus? Right?
But you said, Tony, in your game where you sometimes have to learn how to ditch waves to go to fights. This is, you're saying, a more unique situation because there's no fight. The fight's done because Rengar's already dead and Xerath's here, so you need to just accept reality and just go try and, pressure mid.
Exactly, right? Yeah. So sometimes, you skip waves if the fight is good. But when the fight is 3v5, you never skip waves. You take the wave, And now imagine, right, we were pushing mid in the meantime. We would be in their base already. And now enemies, imagine, they would have to choose. Do we do Baron? Do we send people base? Do we not? And now enemies are, they don't know what to do. They know where to be. A couple of them recall, a couple don't. Xerath could maybe cancel a recall. So you could even use your ultimate to cancel recalls while you're pushing mid, which is something fun to do. And just putting enemies on the spot. As an ADC, that's immobile. And that's wild what you can do.
Yeah. So, this game was looking so good with Dragonstone. Look, now we've lost Baron. We're sort of like behind in gold now. So, like, this game's just gone back and forth,
Yeah, it's very, very back
We've
and
got mid
forth.
inhib.
Yeah, and this is the threat of taking mid inhibs as well, right? If you take mid inhib, gotta play with it. Gotta use to your advantage to keep that wave pushed and do things, put enemies on the spot. But if you just go Baron when all 5 enemies are on Baron, that's very, very like 50-50. You don't know what's gonna happen. It's not in your control. All right, so here, the wave is very far away, unfortunately. So I would say like taking Gromp, waiting for the wave is fine. 2 enemies are dead. That's okay. But now this happens. All right, so actually let's rewind a little bit. I want to see the whole sequence like in real time. So here you realize the wave is far away, right? So you take Gromp. Cool. But now it's like you need to like realize what's happening around you. You have Seraph here, but Briar is very far away now, and the TP could happen, right? This TP play that people make, middle top lanes can make with the TP, is very, very hard to notice, right? So when you look on the map and you count how many allies we have, how many enemies there are, if the enemies have TP, they are here, right? So here I think the mistake is, okay, we want to wait for the wave, maybe we want to get bot, but the moment Briar is far away, you need to either help, like ping Briar to help you, and then I think they would have won the fight, most likely, or just back off. Right? So you need to have that discipline to just notice, hey, I can't control my teammates. Briar left. Okay, maybe it's not so good anymore. And you gotta
Once again, that's the adapting to your team mindset.
Yeah, you gotta have your eyes peeled constantly. Things change non-stop in these games. Okay, and here again, right? We are during the fight where we could take that mid wave first and then put them on the spot, go to the fight, right?
Yeah.
Because Elder is spawning, right? Elder is important, I know. But here, look, it's very like coin flip if this fight is gonna go well or not. And what you could do is legit ditch teammates and go mid. And now enemies have to like choose between Elder, mid, right? It's just, and a lot of times you're gonna feel like, but taking mid wave here is not great because the fight is already happening and everything. But you just gotta think about the fact that a lot of times you're not taking mid wave fast enough. People are not on mid quick enough. They only want to get mid wave. Yeah, they only want to get mid wave when the waves meet. If you can take it. If you can take it before they meet, that's huge. It's very, very huge. Every second counts in this tough moment.
So, sort of got a bit lucky there. Sort of, the team's fighting or catching them out. It looks like we get Elder and probably just end the game pretty soon here.
At this point, we have Elder. It's kind of, you can do whatever you can win. But what I don't like is like we're still playing very, very crazy aggressive, even though like we didn't have Seraph. He recalled, and Rengar is also in base, so you gotta pay attention to that a little bit. Right, but I mean, again, like Elder exists, so it's just weird, right? At this point, this is the beauty of Jinx late game. Like once you get your items, you can go crazy. You can break a lot of rules. You can do whatever. You can join a lot of fights maybe you couldn't. But having that discipline in the early game to control the wave, to go for the waves in mid game as well, and not join every fight, that's gonna like get you to this moment where you can just pop off way sooner.
All right, so Tony, what I want to finish off this episode with is giving some tips, advice. Let's say someone really inspired, Tony. They love your passion about Jinx. They're like, okay, I want to start learning Jinx, main Jinx. What advice would you give to someone who is looking to just pick up Jinx, start learning their Jinx learning journey? What are the big 20%ers they should focus on?
Yeah, first of all, know how to join a fight. Because Jinx likes team fights. She shines in team fights. You get your items, you can deal damage. But just know that your rockets are the way to go. Minigun a lot of the times is bait because you're too close to the enemies. So staying in rockets properly, very, very important. And chompers, believe it or not, chompers are actually huge. Like they're overlooked. They actually do a lot, even though half the time they don't work. But when they work, boy, do they work. So just throwing them in there to start with Just chuck them in there. You're fighting, chuck them in there. That's already like better than 80% of Jinx players because people don't really like to use them. And then, second most important thing I would say, knowing how to play with him. You need to know how to enable your support in laning phase. You need to know, hey, I have Blitz. Maybe I shouldn't perma-shove every wave by default. And then in mid-game, you need to watch out. Okay, what are my teammates doing? Are they doing the right thing? Are we taking a 3v5 Baron fight? Are we not? And based on that, you need to make your decision. Do I join the fight? Do I not? So you just got to learn to understand playing with a team. Because unlike a top laner, you just go topping 1v2. With Jinx, you can't do that.
Okay. Tony, that wraps up our episode today. You coach in the Botland Academy. You do some Jinx sessions every week.
Every Monday, actually, right now.
Every Monday. So if you want to get coached by Tony or join those sessions or watch those VODs, there'll be a link in the description below to join the Botland Academy for We Teach League. Any shout-outs? Any final shout-outs, Tony?
Shout out to the British League Academy. Honestly, like I'm grateful you guys invited me to join this because I feel like League has too much toxicity and negativity around it. But when I joined British League and the people in the Botland Academy, for example, everybody's happy, everybody's positive, everyone wants to learn the game. People don't really flame their teammates, and it's like we enjoy playing the game, we enjoy learning it, and that's what people don't really do enough. And that's why, like, big shout out to British League. Amazing community.
All right, Tony, thanks again for joining me. Really informative. I learned a lot about Jinx and specifically ADC. Good work, guys. We'll see you on our next episode.
Take care.